Would you like to see football wherever you are in the world?
With NordVPN, you can get premium protection online and set your location so you never miss a minute of the content you usually enjoy.
Go to nordvpn.com/TSUW to get 72% off a 2-year plan plus 3 additional months absolutely free.
Here we are once again, Blades. We've got a game. It feels like 36 months since we last played a match at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. Sheffield United versus Coventry City. The Blades against the Sky Blues. It is a 12:30 p.m. kickoff. It is live on Sky Sports Football, and this is the unofficial Watchalong. Hello, Internet. My name is Hal. I'm not going to be solo for this one. Nick is otherwise engaged for the next few games. He's decided to go away at the busiest time in the football season. Got to question his dedication. So I'm going to welcome Alec, who is joining me. Alec Hawley, a Blade like I. Alec, how you doing today?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all.
Well, thanks for agreeing to take part in what is a fairly big commitment, a watch along for an entire game. But I know you're a fan of the channel, and we've had you on before with the fans forum. So for those that didn't see you on that, tell us a little bit about yourself, for example, why you're a Blade, whereabouts in the world you live, all that good stuff, mate.
Yeah, so I'm currently kind of exiled in London, but I grew up in Sheffield. I was there for 18 years. So I grew up a Blade. I grew up going to Bramall Lane. And yeah, you know, I'm from Sheffield. Neither of my parents are particularly interested in football, so they didn't really push me either way. But I had a good friend who was a Blades fan, and we went together. And yeah, it's kind of been that ever since.
I love hearing that story. All right, well, we'll look at the table before we give you the teams for today, because Coventry have had, I wish we didn't, but Coventry have had a really good start. They are in 4th place in the Championship, and the Blades sit 17th on 19 points. Of course, it could have been lower, but Reading have had that 6-point deduction, which could get worse. So that's where we currently sit. Let's have a quick look at what Bobby has made for us. It is our team lineup for how the Blades line up. Now, we're going to caveat this, Alec, aren't we, with we don't necessarily agree that this is how they're going to line up on the pitch. What do you think when you've seen those names?
Yeah, we had a bit of a debate about this. We can't work out if Basham might be in midfield, and we kind of play that 4-2-3-1 we've been playing since like those first 5 games, basically, which would be my gut instinct, just because I think Slav kind of likes that formation and likes kind of what ends up as being a 4 up top, essentially. But yeah, obviously it's possible that Basham could drop in and we play that kind of 3-5 at the back system. The kind of what we got down here would look like a 3-4-3. It could be a 5-3-2. I mean, not quite anything, but
well, it could be. It could be a 5-4-1, Sharp up front on his Todd. It could be that Ndai is playing up front with Sharp. I think it's far more likely, and I agree with you, that it's 4 at the back. I think that 4 at the back would be Bogle, Egan, Davis, Stevens, as we look from right to left. I think Basham and Fleck will probably operate with Hourihane in midfield, and Gibbs, White and Ndai playing off Sharp. But Iliman Ndai can play as a striker, and actually he is much more comfortable in a striker position from his youth days, certainly than he is a winger. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. However, in game, as Bobby's put it on here, it could absolutely line up like this.
Yeah, and the whole point is that those forward players have a lot of fluidity and interchanging, and you know, maybe it doesn't really matter so much what positions we put them in at the start, because they're going to be moving around the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. Hourihane coming in, some rumours that he might actually go back when his loan in January could be cancelled. Also, he could be recalled as well. What do you think the chances are there? Or maybe he even joins Dean Smith at Norwich?
I could definitely see him joining Dean Smith at Norwich. You know, you kind of, when you come in as a new manager, a new place, you kind of want, a bit like Slavisa did with bringing Guardiola in. You want a kind of lieutenant. You want someone who knows your methods, who's going to be, you know, in and around the dressing room, who's going to be able to kind of act as that middleman. So even like if we don't think he's Premier League quality in terms of on the pitch, I just think in the dressing room and kind of day to day on the training ground, he could be a really kind of important for Dean Smith to kind of implement his methods there. So I could definitely see him being recalled, because, I mean, let's be kind, he's not exactly pulled up any trees here. And obviously that would open up a loan slot for us to get one of those three players that Slav is very insistent that he wants.
Absolutely right, Bobby. Let's drop that off screen for a moment as we welcome in Robert. Robert, are you still in Ohio?
Yeah, and actually, because Nick wasn't here, I thought we were going to do a nice little NFL chat, but I guess not. We can do a watch along. We can talk about that stuff. So.
Yeah, Beckham leaving the Browns, big news.
Yep. I don't know. We'll see if that works out in the long run, but I won't bore everybody with that. We can talk team news. We can talk lineup, because I don't think it's going to be the lineup that you guys posted. I'm thinking 𝐍𝐸 is going to be kind of a second or off striker to Billy Sharp, and I see Gibbs White playing a little deeper and more of a midfield three with Fleck and Hauerhan.
Interesting. All right, what do you reckon though? Like, if it is Sharp solo up front, playing one up front at home, and let's be honest, now they're all must-win games because we're so far off the pack. What do you think to that?
Yeah, it would be. I mean, it's interesting because we've had wingers this whole season, and the fact that Osborne's on the bench makes me think that we're not playing wingers, especially with three at the back. So while we could slot into the formation that we've traditionally been playing, I think it's unlikely given the team sheet. So yeah, Sharp alone with that much space and lack of width is scary. But Billy Sharp has surprised us this year. He's become the assist machine. So could he become the target forward machine? And now he's going to go and get all the long balls like Ollie McBurney should be able to do, and pass on to everybody else. We'll see. I'm hoping to be surprised by that.
Yeah, I mean, what are the chances that Hauerhan actually gets subbed off, before the half has even been reached, as he did before? I think some people have suggested that Slav substituted Hauerhan early to make a point to the board, which he doesn't seem to be a big fan of, that it wasn't his signing. I mean, Alec, do you put any stock in that?
I mean, it feels a bit like, I don't know, to me it feels a bit like conspiracy theory. I think what might have been the case was he substituted him as a kind of message to the whole team to get your arse in gear, basically.
Yeah, buck your ideas up because I'm ruthless, as we've seen with his quotes. I mean, some of his press conferences, Robert, I mean, for me, they're difficult to watch. They're not always the most enjoyable. He's quite hard to listen to. But if you actually listen to what he says, he is quite cutthroat. He does get to the point. He doesn't mess about. He's a man who knows his own mind. What do you, when you watch those, what do you take away from them?
Yeah, it's and maybe it's just the fact that English isn't the first language, and so the vocabulary is smaller, so you can't dance around the issues as well as someone who's a little more nuanced with the language. But I definitely think that comes through. He is direct. He says what he needs to say. He's put onus on himself a lot of times. I think there are managers who can say, oh yeah, the players are performing badly, the system's not working because they're not doing something, or the other team, yada yada yada. He's said, like, this is my team, these are my players, I need them to do better. And he does focus a lot of inward, so I do like that. I actually think that Slav, from an interview and kind of press conference standpoint, has done a really good job so far this year. It's, again, not awe-inspiring. He's not necessarily making me want to go out and suit up and play for the team myself, but it's definitely it's not a bad strategy that he's employing.
Interesting. All right, we've got to talk about the goalkeeper, and I mean that for both teams. So we'll start with the Blades, then I'll give you the full Coventry lineup. Alec, we heard in the week that Robin Olsen, who pulled off a fantastic save, by the way, for Sweden against Kosovo, he's apparently got a slight injury. He's not even on the bench today, gone with salad fingers on the bench, and starting is League One 𝐍𝐸. So, Alec, your thoughts? Do you feel confident and comfortable with League One 𝐍𝐸 in between the sticks?
Yeah, I feel sorry for him. That's a horrible nickname. Just because some guy shouted at him.
It's true. It's true. In fact, it gives me an opportunity.
I mean, as you said in the preview, the last time we saw him was against Southampton in the Carabao. He pulled off an amazing save. He's not really been given a chance since. Olsen is, again, I'm going to say, not pulling up any trees, to say the least. And it's kind of possibly not the worst thing for Olsen to be taken out of the firing line for at least a game. And we, give 𝐍𝐸 a chance, and there's no reason not to be confident. He's got a lot of experience in the EFL, and I'm sure he'll relish the opportunity.
𝐍𝐸. League One 𝐍𝐸.
League One 𝐍𝐸. Are we crazy?
League One 𝐍𝐸. Are we crazy?
I'll never get tired of playing that, and I will not apologise for it. The fact that he says it himself about himself is the reason we've carried it on. I'm delighted to see League One Wes back. I have nothing but confidence in him. I think it sends such a terrible message to the players. Robert, what do you think about that kind of message? You pull off the save of the season. You have a great game, a really good game. The Blades took the game to Southampton in large spells in that League Cup match. I know not everyone saw it, but he was really, really good in that game. No one came away from that game thinking that Wes was the reason we didn't progress to the next round. Anything but. It came down to a penalty shootout, and that's just a lottery. So then to be dropped straight away for the next game after your performance of the season, I think that sends a message to the whole squad that says it's reputation. What do you think?
Yeah, there's a part of me that thinks, man, that was harsh. You know, he plays well. We saw Verips did not play well right beforehand, and then Olsen coming in. But at the same time, like, the stature of Olsen when we got him, he's coming from a Serie A team in Roma, who's not a bad team, but like that's a reputable side. He had just put on an amazing performance in the Euros over the summer. Olsen was supposed to be really, really good. Olsen has very, very underperformed, and that's why we're having this conversation. If Olsen performs at the level that we all thought he would have, we would be like, yeah, it's unfortunate for Wes, but man, it's Olsen. Like, this guy should be starting every game. So the fact that he's now not starting, that we're going back to Wes, I think is, one, it's the form of Olsen. Two, it's potentially this injury is being, you know, a little bit more finicky than initially we thought. So, I mean, if Wes can hold on and take this opportunity and put in a good performance today, I think we're all, as fans, to the point where, yeah, it doesn't matter on reputation. But back in September, back when the signing was made, I didn't really bat an eye. I was like, I feel bad, but it's Robin Olsen. So, but yeah, opinions change over time, and performances impact that.
Oh, completely. Now, let us know your score predictions in the comments. What do you think for today? Sheffield United against Coventry City. It's been a while since we last played Cov at the Lane, a 2-0 win in League One 4 years ago when the Blades were top of the table. It feels like a lifetime ago for both clubs. Huge changes. Coventry were bottom of the table then. They were going through that SUISU, Susu thing that I don't really understand. I don't really know a lot about that. Alec, do you know more about that?
Not really. I know that they weren't great owners, and I think they sold the ground and then got it back or something. And yeah, it was lots of turmoil. Yeah,
and there was the tennis balls on the pitch. They were trying to get the game abandoned, a match that we desperately needed to win for promotion. I think a lot of Blades, it left a bit of a sour taste because we didn't really understand the full impact of what was happening for their club. For them, I totally understand. They were trying to get what they would have looked at as baddies out of the club, and they saw a Sky game as a way of doing that. It didn't matter that it was Sheffield United, the opposition. They would have done it for whatever game was on the telly. So let's look at the Coventry team, the Sky Blues, who don't play at Highfield Road anymore, which was a stadium I absolutely loved going to visit with my dad. Really, really fantastic stadium because the fans were on the side, which when you're an away fan and you're on the side, you've got a proper view. Makes all the difference. I hate being behind the goal. So we got Simon Moore in goal. Robert, your quick thoughts on the kind of reception he should get?
It should be positive. He served the club well. Yes, he was a backup most of the years, but that's to no fault of his own. He performed well when he needed to, stepped up in some big games, especially in the Premier League. So yeah, I hope everybody gives him at least a warm round of applause at the beginning, warm round of applause at the end when we're winning, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I agree. He will. In my opinion, if I was there today, but I always agree to do these when we're on telly, he would get a standing ovation. He never let the side down. That save against Sheffield Wednesday at home in that awful 0-0 when Didsey missed a penalty, a wonderful save. He was just fantastic. I can't remember too many occasions, certainly before we got to the Premier League, where he ever let us down. So really, really good stopper, and the Cov fans adore him. I just wish we still had him. I mean, as a backup, we wouldn't even be questioning it. He'd be our number one now. Carl McFadzean, that is, who was a Blades youth player, as was his brother Callum, Rose. So they've got three at the back. Then Dabo, Hamer, Allen, Ben Sheaf, and Kane across the middle. So five in the middle. Callum O'Hare, a really dangerous and very strong championship attacking midfielder, and Yorkeresh up front. And thanks very much, tip of the hat to Bobby for saying that was definitely the correct pronunciation for that, Bobby. You are a star. Bobby's in the background. Show him some love in the comments. And if you want to be part of the super chat, Nick has set me the rather grand total of raising £100 from today's watch along. Looking at the numbers viewing, that's going to be a tall order, but we'll do our very best. Now, let's take a quick look. Again, if you are just joining us, we are going to put the Blades team back on screen, and we're just going to caveat this with we're not sure exactly the formation. I'm leaning more towards a 4-3-2-1. I don't think Slav is going to be wholesale changes quite like this with 5 at the back. But your team anyway is Fodringham, Bogle, Stevens, Davis, Egan, Basham, Howrahan, Fleck, Gibbs-White, Iliman and that man, Billy Sharp, up top. Also, Coventry, just some things to be aware of. Alec, does this worry you? They're a team that can come from behind. They can score late goals. They've gained 6 points from 3 injury time goals this season.
Yeah, I mean, any team can come from behind, but obviously they've got a history of doing so. What I would say, yeah, I mean, obviously it's a worry. I mean, it still feels like kind of early stages to me, like it's a fairly small sample size, 3 times in 15 games or whatever it is now. And, you know, if you go into kind of managers becoming, it's just about what you do, isn't it? It's about maintaining concentration. It's about limiting opportunities. It's about not giving them the chance to do that.
Alec, you're big into the analytics side of the game. So is it fair to say that the stats, they do lie? Because analytics-wise, Sheffield United should be doing better. Yeah.
If you look at our XG, you know, XG for XG against, it's pretty good. And we won the XG battle, as you call it, in kind of most games, to be honest. So you kind of feel like, well, we should have won most of those games. And there's been, you know, definitely occasions I can think of where, you know, we created loads of chances against Huddersfield, against Blackpool, and, you know, we didn't win those games, which was disappointing. But it shows there's a lot right there, even if the league table doesn't kind of currently reflect that. And the other thing I would say is there was such a shift after 5 games. You know, we got MGW in, and we switched from Slav trying to persevere with 5 at the back to this 4-2-3-1, and kind of really him stamping his identity on the team. And I think that kind of if you just look from then on, it's a very different picture. Those first 5 games when we got 2 points kind of distorts everything a bit as well.
Yeah. Robert, you surprised that Rhian Brewster, after his goal against Blackburn Rovers, is on the bench?
Again, it's we've seen with Slav that he'll drop people, he'll play people, and you know, he's a little bit more willing to make changes to the side in some cases, and not in others. I mean, we've definitely seen him stick with some players who a lot of folks wouldn't want playing in you know, John Fleck variety. So it's interesting. I think he scores a goal. That's great. But the rest of the game, he wasn't inspiring. And again, I think that's because he's playing out on a wing. If he's up front as a striker, I think he plays much better. So yeah, a little unfortunate. But with the and again, this is where I think he's going with the back 3. When you switch to that formation, you can't devote too much width onto the field. And so you have to be able to maintain the midfield. And I think Brewster is a bit more, in Slav's eyes, is a bit more of a winger right now than he is a striker. And if Slav only wants to play one striker, or if he wants a striker that can operate in the attacking midfield, I would rather go with 𝐍𝐸𝐸 as well. So it's interesting. Again, he has shown that he'll drop folks even if you have your best game.
Chances that 𝐍𝐸𝐸 finishes the game as well.
Right, let's not keep going on about that after Hal once said he'll never get cramp again. You know, we could have saved a fortune. We had Iliman at the club when we bought Rhian Brewster, but let's not go over that old ground. The referee for today, because Alec reminded me of this when you mentioned Huddersfield, a game that we really did play very well, had a lot of chances, a bit like that Blackpool game. This referee refereed us and took charge of United's game when we lost at home 2-1 to Huddersfield. It is Lancashire's Michael Salisbury this season so far. He's refereed only 7 games, but he's issued 20 yellow cards and 5 red cards. He's also given 1 penalty. I think that he is going to have an enormous impact in this one because he's a referee that is very card happy. Now, if you are just joining us, this match is on Sky Sports Football in the UK. Robert, is it on in the States?
Yeah, ESPN Plus. I think we get every main Sky Sports broadcast. So
unreal. You get it all over there. But, you know, Robert, Alec is from London, which they've got things like, Alec, in London, have they got those like doorbells where you can like talk to them?
Yeah.
Oh, my, it's like you're in the year 2050.
They're not available in the north.
What else have you got going on there? Have you got like those heated socks that you can wear around the house in the winter?
I don't have heated socks, but they may exist.
God, it's incredible. All the inventions that exist in London.
There was someone at work this week who was talking about how she has underfloor heating in like the whole flat, and I was very jealous. This sounds like
underfloor heating. Wow, Robert, have you ever heard of that? Underfloor heating, under the floor.
That's impressive. I mean, I'm just picturing, as a civil engineer, I'm trying to picture how we get that to work, because I've got a very cold apartment that I might want to fix up.
Yeah, she lives in a very, very technologically advanced apartment block, which has a heat pump and is built to maximize everything you can think of, which apparently she pays about 10 quid a month in heating bills. Ridiculous. Well,
if you are just joining us, as you'd imagine, it is the Sheffield United way, talking about Sheffield United against Coventry. Hey, we're broadcasting for a long time. I welcome that kind of nonsensical nonsense. Also today, we do have some former players involved for both. Quite a lot of players have played for both, so if you can think of any, pop them in the chat. Alec, John Fleck, thoughts on him this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been kind of a bit like the whole team, kind of inconsistent would be what I think of. I think there's definitely been some good moments, and there have been some, not so good moments where he's kind of just gone missing to an extent and not really been able to get on the ball and exert his influence. And obviously, what he's good at is going forward. He's kind of, he likes getting stuck into a few tackles as well, but really you want him up the top end, making things happen when we're playing well.
Yeah, completely. I want your score predictions both. I've already done mine on the match preview. You can check that out. You'll now have to watch it after the game. Won't make any sense, but we need the views. Alec, please give me your score prediction for Sheffield United Coventry.
Yeah, I think we're of a similar mind. I think 2-1 to us is what I'm going to go for, partly because we're not great at keeping clean sheets at the moment, and yeah, I want to be positive, want to be optimistic, so I'll go 2-1 to us.
All right, spoiler alert for those that haven't watched the preview. And Robert, are you going to be as positive as Hal, real name Alex, and Alec, real name Alex?
So I'm gonna go 1-0. Not that because I have confidence in our ability to keep a clean sheet, but rather I have a lack of confidence in our ability to score multiple goals. But I want to be positive and I want us to win. So 1-0 it is.
All right, get your score predictions, please, in the comments as we go. Also, the other thing I always want to know is where in the world you are watching this from. I'd love to hear from you if you are far and wide. Whenever we do home games, we recognise the majority, of course, that are interested in these are at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. But if you are watching from somewhere exotic, so you couldn't get to the game, do let us know. Somewhere maybe as exciting as London, with all those futuristic flying cars and stuff.
I did watch a game in Germany a few months ago.
Yeah, you might have to elaborate on that.
Well, I was on holiday in Germany, and yeah, I did the SUTV thing for I think it was the whole game.
Oh, you watched a Sheffield United game in Germany, right? I get what you're saying.
Sorry. Yes, no, I didn't. Yes, no, I watched. Yeah, we're in the country. We're in their house in the country, and I was watching Sheffield United.
Brilliant. Well, we've got Aaron Long, who's in Seattle. Seattle Sounders, born in '79. I love Seattle. It's my favorite place in America. We've got W&G fan who is in Blackpool, Lancashire. We've got Mr. LJ, who's on the toilet. We've also got Naylor, who's watching with his eyes closed. I mean, all three of us could be broadcasting on the toilet. Oh, Matthew C is watching in London with fancy radiators that probably sort of circle around you and move with you as you go into different rooms because it's London.
That's annoying.
Really exciting. We've got William, who's in Melbourne, which is in Australia. Of course, they're headed towards their summer. Brisbane, Thomas, really, it is. And late, of course, there. I've got family in Oz. We've got Snappy 13 in Texas. Also, this is my basic geography, but Robert, I imagine, also quite a hot place.
Yeah. It's a little further south, a little warm. Depends on where you are in Texas, so it can get pretty cold up north.
I have heard Texas is quite big.
It's bigger than the UK, which is. I mean, I remember when the Formula One was in Texas, they moved a college game, and I worked out the distance was the same as Celtic having a game and the Chelsea match being moved. Let's give a shout out to Helen in Newcastle upon Tyne with lots of magpies. Helen, one of our favourite viewers. She's always incredibly generous and kind. We've also got Jace Ace on a drill ship offshore in Guyana. My Uncle Tom used to work offshore, doing lots of stuff. We've also got John Cameron watching from Scotland. We've got Sword in the Netherlands, as always. And I think I've read out most of those on repeat.
Guyana
Okay.
might be the furthest then.
Say that again, Alec, in a louder
Guyana
voice.
might be the furthest then.
Yes. Guyana probably is the furthest of all the destinations today. Really do appreciate that. Now, just to let you know, members, Bobby, if you could just pop the members on screen, if you'd like to be a member of the channel and help support us, thank you so much. All the names running along the bottom are paid up members of the channel. You help with the running costs. We still need more to completely break even, but that's by the by. If you are a member, you will get exclusive player interviews, current and former, over a week before the plebs. So if you want to be a member, I think it's well worth it. We have got coming up some big names and our first ever goalkeeper. William pointing out that Jack Rodwell has just signed with Western Sydney Wanderers. He, of course, will be trying to resurrect his career in Australia. Robert, he's still quite young, isn't he?
Yeah. I don't know much about Jack Rodwell. I
don't know why I turned to you for that. No, I did. Yeah. I just needed to sort of stop thinking and talking for a second. He's 30.
30. Well, not as young as we thought.
And by the way, look at that for an instant advert. That's how you do it, folks. I am available for voiceover work if Argos are looking for someone to promote their new red pens. Mr. LJ has become a YouTube member. Thank you very much. Right, Alec, give me your thoughts as we approach kickoff in terms of how you see this game playing out. Talk about Coventry as well, because I know you're across the championship in quite a big way.
I'm quite nervous, to be honest. They've definitely got threats we need to really be wary of. Callum Maher has kind of Grealish vibes to me. He looks a bit like him. He dribbles a bit like him. There was a great match, I think it was versus Barnsley, where they just took it in turns fouling him. So they got like 8 yellows in one half because they just literally just couldn't deal with them at all. Gyökeres is in great form. I think Mark Robins is doing an excellent job there. Kind of really, I mean, it's kind of slight sort of Wilder vibes to me in that, it's not really a team of stars. It's a team of, kind of people picked from various places all over the place that he's really got, molded into this kind of solid unit that's can do some pretty spectacular things. So yeah, there's definitely a lot we need to be wary of. But, if we play to our potential, if we kind of turn up in inverted commas, I think we can definitely cause them problems as well. So hopefully an entertaining game.
I hope so too, especially as you're joining me for your first watch along. I want this to be a good one for you. Robert, who's the most handsome man on the pitch?
Ooh, that's tricky. I'm gonna play favorites and go Billy Sharp. Got the number and the name on the back, so I imagine I've got some sort of handsome energy vibing from that.
Well, you're a beautiful man, but I'm gonna sort of say actually it's between the two goalkeepers today, and when you see the Christmas jumpers being modelled by anyone other than Simon Moore, I think you're not getting a purchase out of me. Simon Moore probably just takes it, and I'm basing this purely off what my wife has instructed me to say today, because I am dreadful. I am dreadful at working this stuff out. A lot of my friends on Twitter, my female friends, always put pictures of George Bulldog and sort of like, I cannot see it. I haven't got a clue. I could not tell you. And I look at him and I think, should I do my hair like that? Is that what I'm doing wrong? I think it's actually the entire facial structure. I have a kind of resting, kind of ugly face. That's my main problem. Robert, thank you for joining us. Please come back again at halftime when hopefully we are not talking about central heating, flying cars and handsome men. Instead, the main focus is on the Blades being at least 2 goals up. So we'll catch you then. Cheers.
Yeah, sounds good. See you guys.
Top man. Alec, it's you and me, some hairy men talking about football. What more could you want? You come for the football chat, you stay for the sex appeal. We're going to try and work out, as the game kicks off, the kind of formation that the Blades are playing today. There's Simon Moore on screen, which should hopefully give us an early indication, Alec, if your timer is on the same time as mine, if you can see him at the moment as well.
Pretty similar at the very least.
Good stuff. When we kick off, I promise I will give you a time check, dear viewer, and we'll try and get you all set up. That's going to be largely for Alec and I as well. First time we're doing this together. No idea in London if he's sort of 10 minutes ahead of me with his fancy telly.
I think you know it's not 10 minutes.
It's felt like that when Nick and I have done Red Button games and BT Sport. Don't get me started. The only good thing. The only good thing about getting relegated from the Premier League was no more BT Sport. However, they have sponsored the channel before, so I'd like to retract not just that statement, but everything I've ever said. Good. The match about to kick off. Bobby is going to put your beautiful graphic on screen when it does. He obviously is in leafy Buckinghamshire, so he'll be ahead because that's what happened last time I did a watch along with Bobby, which was kind of frustrating. Not because it was Bobby. Bobby's brilliant, but just because he was ahead. So he saw all the action before me, and it was a game full of action. And I think we're off. So Coventry kicking off. They will kick, as is tradition, towards the Kop first half, and the Blades kicking their second half. That usually indicates that we've won the toss. And an early ball that was misplaced on that left-hand side for a throw-in to the red and white Wizards. I'll give you a time check as we reach 0:30. Alec, if you are ahead or behind of me, let me know at that juncture. But already, that ball getting passed back to League One Wes for his first touch, and we'll be at 0:30, 28, 29, 30.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much is as good enough as it's going to get. And the ball all the way back to Simon Moore. So, impossible to work out early on, I would say. But I'm probably leaning towards the four at the back and looking like Iliman Ndiaye might even be playing as a striker or just off. Very hard to tell at the moment as Ender Stevens lays that ball back to League One Wes, thumps it forward. It's going to be a game, I think, Alec, of a lot of balls in the air that are going to have to be won by big centre-backs. And Coventry have got one in 𝐍𝐸𝐻𝐶, who I know Chris Wilder wanted to sign for the Blades. Are you expecting him to have a big game?
Yeah, quite possibly. I have to say I don't know a huge amount about him personally, so but yeah, I'm sure that centre backs are very important, especially when you do. I mean, I think quite a lot of Championship games are often tends up to be quite definitely a significant aerial component.
Would you say more than the Premier League?
Yeah, I think so on average. Like, it's not night and day, but I think the Premier League probably has a greater proportion of teams that want to kind of get it down and play, whereas there's quite a few Championship teams who like a more direct route.
I agree with that, as that ball is slightly misplayed. I think Coventry do really well before Billy Sharp was going to just snap in there. He was on his heels rather than on his tiptoes and didn't quite get there. It's made its way back to Moore, who passes around in that midfield, and we're seeing Gyökeres drop quite deep, as we sometimes see with Blade strikers. For example, if 𝐍𝐸𝐻𝐶 was playing, I'm sure he'd already be further back than League One Wes. Again, that ball played through and won at the back by Coventry. Also, pop in the comments what you've made of this team selection. For example, Wes Foderingham playing ahead of Olsen. We believe that's due to a slight injury to Olsen, but hey, would he have played anyway? It's a question.
I think so, probably, yes.
It's possible. It's certainly possible with the kind of form that he's on at the moment. As this ball comes over halfway, Coventry looking to make inroads and try and get something going. There's Harahan combining there at the back, but they've not done well. The Blades have got themselves in a little bit of a mess on this left-hand side. We're only 3 minutes old into this game. That's a decent challenge, but it's not going to fall to the man that was hopefully going to pick it up, as Chris Basham did get the key foot in. Coventry keeping this early pressure on. They'll be coming here looking to get that ball passed around and make things happen. Hamer, that player that you've really got to watch out for. He's number 38, got a really good long-range shot, as I mentioned in the preview, and that final pass just not there. That was, Alec, for me, a little bit of nervous moments.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just before that, there was a little bit of nice skill from Morgan Gibbs-White, which is encouraging.
Yeah, I think he's got bags of it.
Yeah, we definitely need him to be on form if we're going to get a result today.
How worried are you about Morgan Gibbs-White going back to Wolverhampton Wanderers in January?
There's sort of indications in the music are that he should stay, and that I think I've read that there's not a natural position for him in that Wolves side, so that's obviously a plus in that regard. I think they just want to kind of give him a full season and kind of see where he is then, and then make a decision about then whether he might be ready to be integrated in the first team.
Got to say, Alec, it looks like Basham's playing at the back, doesn't it?
It does.
I think Bobby might have been the one voice that all dissenters were ignoring. I think Bobby might have played a blinder here and got the formation spot on.
Yep.
We live by the saying, never doubt Bobby Noakes.
Getting forward now, I think.
Yeah, he is now. And as soon as I've said I think he's playing at centre-back, he's further forward, he's further forward than Billy.
He's at right wing.
However, if we are playing three at the back with overlapping centre-backs, and we've completely scrapped Slav's plan and gone all the way back to Wilder's, that would have made sense. But here we are on the left-hand side.
I would say is, if this has been a plan, we have had 2 weeks to train it. So
true, and actually the Blades are often better after an international break. Here's Morgan Gibbs-White, a chance to lay that ball off to Bogle. Oh, it's a poor ball in. And it looked like, Alec, was there an offside in there?
I'm not sure.
Dabo it was who got that block in, but I think there might have just been...
So...
absolutely a throw-in instead. I thought there might have just been one or two that strayed, but the ball didn't get into the box anyway, and Morgan Gibbs-White will lay that back to Jaden Bogle. Thought he should have done better with the cross.
Yeah, it's disappointing when he just kind of hit the first man, but then I guess he's still a pretty young player, still kind of honing his craft, you'd say.
What about him and Baldock? I mean, where do you stand? Is there a possibility you could see both of them play in the same team?
Yeah, I mean, I think Baldock is better defensively and Bogle's probably better going forward, so you could... I mean, if you wanted to kind of semi-double up, you could have Bogle as the kind of right winger, essentially.
Yeah, he could do. As John Fleck on his favoured left foot, the former Coventry man, took a really nice touch, shaped to shoot. You could see what he had in his mind, saw that a defensive player for Coventry was coming to close him down. It was Allen, and he just nutmegged him. And then with that goal, absolutely gaping, he thought, I can curl this round McFadzean and try and beat more. It missed that key bit of that description, didn't it? But he looks up for it. And I did say I did a written prediction for Football 365 where I highlighted Fleck as the key man.
I mean, I said he's been inconsistent over the course of the season. That was inconsistent in the course of about 10 seconds.
Spot on, yeah. But not a terrible start. We're at 6 minutes. 13. If you're trying to get level with us, we're doing the watch along. The matches on Sky Sports Football Live. Of course, most Blades at this game. I will personally, there won't be a watch along for Reading. I will be at the Reading game. That is an away match on the 23rd. Nick is away, so you'll get me doing the match reaction, not just for this one, but for the next few games. And I've got to be honest, I am nervous as hell because I've never done one. And I hate giving my opinion. And I always like to hear you, dear viewer, and your opinions. That's why I'm always asking questions.
So it looks like we've got a wide free kick that could be swung into the box now.
Yeah, on 6:50 as it is delivered. Looking for that man at the back there. It was John Egan who couldn't quite get the connection on that I think he would have liked. And that ball will be cleared by Coventry all the way on this right-hand side, around about 30 yards out from the corner flag for a throw in. But a decent delivery. And that's one thing Harahan we've seen over Norwood definitely has over him. And particularly, we've been very poor at attacking corners, but against Hull, we actually looked quite dangerous.
Yeah, just that one game seems to...
Just that one game.
That one game.
But we all remember it because it was the only time we actually looked. I think I was looking at this the other day. I think we're the second worst team for attacking corners in the Championship.
It's not great.
It's not great.
We're definitely not Cardiff, let's put it that way.
No, and there's so many areas of teams like Cardiff who are not having a great season, who are better in some areas and not better in others. It's teams that can put it all together. They don't necessarily have to have the best 11, and that's what will create a side that can push. You saw it last season with Barnsley, and you look at them this season. A lot of similar players in there. They didn't lose huge numbers. It could be
that lose, I think DK was a huge loss.
DK on loan, but he was only ever on loan, and the amount that Orlando wanted for him was going to be ridiculous. Bizarrely, he's gone back to the States. He's not even featuring for the USA, as they would say, the men's national team.
I think he's been quite prolific for Orlando, though. I checked it recently.
Yeah. Very good for Orlando. A player that I would love the Blades to sign. I think he's exactly what Sheffield United are missing, but I'd also highlight another 11 players that the Blades are absolutely missing at the moment. But hey, it costs a lot of money, not just to sign players.
I think Slav would agree, who we're really missing is a proper defensive midfielder. There's so much pressure on that defence at the moment just because Fleck isn't one, Norwood isn't one, and they're kind of doing their best, but it's not really... not really effectively shielding the defenders.
No, you're absolutely spot on. And of course, that Ronaldo Vieira player was highlighted as that player that would come in and adapt to that exact role. That didn't happen, as we know, broken by Sheffield United way. that story that he wasn't going to sign because he failed a medical. Just saying. So do follow us on social media if you want big breaking news. Also, we've got Regan Slater at the club, who's not getting a look in, and he is that player.
Yeah, which is weird. I mean, obviously, Slav presumably has seen him in training, and he'll have made a decision based on more information than we have. But I mean, he was on loan a whole last season. He's got EFL experience. He scored a lovely goal versus Wednesday for the under-23s, and the fact that he hasn't been given a chance at all is pretty. Outside of, I think he played some Carabao Cup games. That was about it, and did pretty well. So you'd think in a position where we're clearly deficient, you should surely give him a chance. But SJ doesn't seem to agree.
I'm really glad you mentioned that goal against the Pigs because it was outstanding. Now we're on 9 minutes 42. The Blades trying to get over halfway with Ben Davis, who will check and find Ender Stevens, who decides to play quite an interesting ball just behind his intended target. And it is Chris Basham, who we think is playing everywhere. But it does look, and I'm going to reiterate this, that Bobby in the background deserves far more foreground because I think he got it spot on today. Bobby, just give me a thumbs up if you think this is a back three. Yeah, Bobby's convinced. By the way, thanks to Simon who says how I'm too sensible to do match reactions. I mean, one thing I would say about that is I'm not particularly reactionary, and I don't like getting overly animated or shouting. So yeah, perhaps I'm the worst person to do a match reaction on Sheffield United way, because all I'm really going to want to say is I just hope everyone had a lovely time.
We can't read too much into one game.
We can't read too much into one game. I don't want to get too much mud on their shirts, and I hope they all shook hands afterwards. Yeah, I genuinely watch football in such a different way to Nick, who is so much better than me at picking things out. He sees things that I miss. He sees things ahead of time. And he also sees things that others around us when we watch games together aren't even watching. He's often not watching the ball. He's watching around and looking for movement. He's a great person to watch a game with live. Morgan Gibbs White.
Something might be starting.
This is it now, isn't it? This is the first real opportunity to get a decent ball into the box. It's a bit overcooked, that one from
it was.
Jaden Bogle looking for Billy Sharp at the far post, but I don't think he could have done anything with that. And he's actually done as well as anyone could with that poorly placed cross. Then it's a poorly placed pass from Billy with poor Ender Stevens had two men on him, and it's going to be a throw-in on this left-hand side near what I'll call the Labour stand, because that's what it was when I was younger. So that's what it'll always be to me. So it's going to be this throw-in. Look at the guns on Ender, even though the sun's not out. John Fleck gets it back from Ender Stevens, the two left-footers. Ender again, he's trying to do that. He's been trying to do that since Chelsea away in our first season back in the Prem. That nutmeg, which isn't working anymore, Ender. That's a poor pass, and John Fleck, I think, may have fouled his man. Referee Salisbury says no, play on.
He certainly did one of his trademark full-blooded tackles.
Yeah, I mean, I would have probably, if I'd been refereeing this game, I probably would have given that as a foul, but I'm delighted he didn't. Salisbury, this referee, has given a lot of red cards and yellows this season, but so far he's let the game flow, and that's absolutely what you want to see. But that's a poor pass from Ender Stevens, going to require a bit of recovery, and that is a foul. Coventry, they're getting a little overexcited with the Brazilian, Gustavo Hamer. And thanks, by the way, for all of those joining us in the watch along. You can let us know where in the world you are. And we're joined today by Alec. If this is the first time you're seeing him on the Sheffield United Way, he has been part of our fans forum before, but he's joining me for this one. And in the background where Alec is, I do believe there might be some washing up or something going on.
Yeah, sorry, it's baby.
Well, you are, I should say, I'll use this as an opportunity to say it, a fairly new father, so congratulations.
Yes, she's a year old. And yes, she's dropping things on the floor.
As long as she's probably having a better time than those watching the game. Another Gustavo, who is from Brazil, is watching this, perhaps watching his compatriot. And Joseph from Coventry, you're all welcome today. Leanne from Sheffield joining the channel today. Great to have you watching, myself and Alec. We've also got, thank you, by the way, Captain Costa, for saying this, because I'm going to need notes for the match reaction. Fleck has played really well, not dawdling on the ball, nice quick passes and moves. I didn't know they used the word dawdling in America, but you learn something new every day.
Sorry, I just need to plug in, so I just need to go off camera for 1 second.
Absolutely fine. Alec is going to do things off camera, and I will drop him out for a moment whilst We have on 13.50 a chance for Coventry, and Dabo plays a really weak pass. It's intercepted superbly, and the Blades can try and get things moving. That's not bad play at all from 𝐍𝐸𝐫𝐝𝐕𝐏𝐍, twisting and turning as we hit bang on 14. If you are trying to get level with us, we're on this right-hand side. It's a chance for United to get 2 or 3 passes without 𝐸𝐸𝐍 getting a foot in, but the former Blades youth player says you shall not pass. But his own pass to 𝐍𝐸𝐸𝐕𝐏𝐍 was misplayed, and now's a chance for the Blades to play in Iliman Ndiaye and the cross, but there's no one there, and former Blade Simon Moore does really well to get 2 hands to that. You'll see behind the goal there the 2 Coventry fans who have the hats and the really long scarves. I remember watching a documentary about them and also saw them at Bramall Lane, not just in that famous cup game where Wayne Quinn scored, but also I've seen them there in past games because we played Coventry so many times over the years. Alec is back as Coventry look to get something going with a shot from distance. It's the first real test for 𝐍𝐸𝐍, and then good defensive play from Ender Stevens. Not a bad shot, that, Alec.
We do seem to be on an unfortunate run of kind of conceding, maybe not wonder goals, but exceptional strikes. That's part of the whole XG thing. I mean, there was that ridiculous Jed Wallace strike versus Millwall. That Blackpool strike was a superb finish. That Millwall strike was a superb finish. The second goal as well. And I think there have been a few others. So hopefully we can stop doing that, because it's
absolutely. Well, that was a decent effort from Ben Sheaf, and then the cross came in from Kane, which, as you were just talking about, ridiculous goals. I thought for a moment as that Kane cross took a deflection, that could have ended up in the back of 𝐸𝐻𝑍's net, but he was very well positioned and dealt with that, as he's dealt with everything so far, very comfortably.
Yeah.
We've got Simon Moore back with the ball, looking at options across that back 3. Coventry, if you are just joining us, are playing a formation that is 3 at the back. We also believe the Blades are. Perhaps then, Alec, Slav's just matching up against the opposition just for this game.
Yeah, quite possibly. Or it may be that he is shifting, as people have called for. You get a bit more defensive solidity. And like I said, if this is a shift, we have had 2 weeks training, so there would have been time to implement it properly.
You're not wrong. The Blades have had better results off the back of international breaks. So perhaps that's because Slav gets more opportunity to work with the players in that time that you're quite right to point out. It's 2 weeks.
We played Peterborough helped too.
Yeah, the fact we played Peterborough right after one when we finally looked like everything was clicking and we were going to get it together. But since then, it's been mixed. It's been very inconsistent, and at times been very difficult to watch. There's Tim Fisher, who saved Coventry by the looks of it for many fans. He doesn't look like he's happy with that decision at the moment. It's 16:40 on the clock. You've not missed anything.
It looks like a stressful job. It looks like it's taking its toll on him.
I think it has. I mean, who would own a football club? Alec, if you had all the money in the world, would you even touch it?
Yeah, probably.
All right, good shout. As long as you'd hire me in some capacity at the Blades. Obviously, I would have always said I'd like in good Nick as my assistant manager, but as he's taken a holiday at the crucial point of the season, I have to question his dedication.
I can't remember who it was, but I was reading. Someone told me that there was a guy who used to go on holiday in the middle of the season every season and just leave his assistant manager in charge. I can't remember who it was now, which would make it a much better anecdote. But
it would.
It's been done in previous.
Well, he literally put on holiday mode, but in life.
Yeah, he'd go away for 2 weeks. I think he was Spanish or something, and he'd go away for Spain for 2 weeks and just leave the assistant manager in charge.
Well, here's 𝐍𝐸𝐸𝐍, who's going to cross that ball onto this right-hand side for Coventry, as Kane will try and keep things moving, and an opportunity for Ben Sheaf to try and get that ball in. And I tell you what, that wasn't a bad idea with O'Hare coming in, steaming in, but League One 𝐍𝐸𝐻𝐶, not the tallest keeper.
Nice alertness.
Yeah, very good alertness. You're absolutely right to bring that out, because as this ball was played in, I thought O'Hare was just going to get a foot on it, because he did see it and reacted, but actually 𝐍𝐸𝐻𝐶 was alive to it. Coventry, I would say, looking at this game in a way that they would be quite happy with the first 19 minutes.
Yeah, I think both teams can be fairly happy. They've done. We've not really had many huge clear-cut chances yet. Coventry just working the ball around, but there's been kind of little almost moments for both teams, and it's been pretty tightly contested.
Yeah, I have to say, Carl 𝐸𝐸𝐻𝐶. I've got to stop doing that. Having brothers, it's going to always make that difficult. Kyle 𝐸𝐸𝐻𝐶 has looked very accomplished at the back, a player who I think could have made it with United. Apparently, he kind of lost his way with football a little bit and had to come back. And that was the shame, that the reason he didn't make it at the Blades. But he's done fantastically since, as has Callum. I mean, they both had very good careers. Here's a chance for the Blades to try and get things moving from the back. I've got to say, Alec, one thing I have noticed is we seem to be playing the ball out from the back rather than after initially kicking it long because we lost all those aerial contested challenges.
Yeah, which is probably a better strategy, I would say. And I think it
maybe as Coventry have the ball back from the last 3 times we've done it, I'm not sure.
Well, I think I think it's definitely how Slav wants to play. He's never been a kind of long ball direct manager, so that's kind of what I expect from our matches this season. A lot of patient possession and playing out from the back.
Yeah, completely. Coventry have had more possession in this match, but only just, and it's really a very even game. It's playing out as you would probably imagine.
It feels like a 50-50 game in almost every respect. 50-50 possession, kind of neither side really creating many chances so far. Kind of equal levels of effort and endeavour and whatever you'd want to call it.
Yeah. If you are just joining us, wondering what those extra noises are, it's Alex Child just destroying everything he loves. Or he's in a position where he can't do anything
about it. Impatiently waiting for food.
Well, aren't we all? Yes. But it's 0-0. We're at 20:05 if you want a time check for this one. And I've got to say, not a game for the neutral, as often is the case when the Blades are on Sky. So perhaps no real surprise. Let us know what the atmosphere is like at Bramall Lane as well. We've obviously got the game on mute, so we can't be sure. But I have to say, I've been to all the games that haven't been on TV at the Lane this season, and the atmosphere has been terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than this game is better than Forest game, at least. That one literally nothing happened for
a long time.
Periods. It just looked like both teams are really tired that game.
Yeah, we spoke to former Coventry player Michael Doyle actually about that Forest game. He was not overly impressed with the football on display. Maybe Bogle can show some heels to Dabo, and no, he can't get past his man. And the Blades will begin again, but at least they're in Coventry's half with Howrahan looking for Morgan Gibbs-White. He's certainly a live wire that can, on his day, make things happen. I know when Bobby and I went to the home game against Derby, that wasn't his day, but he's had games since where he's been absolutely fantastic as that ball looking for Iliman Ndiaye. I'm not sure why you would play a ball in to Iliman Ndiaye at such pace to his head, but they did, and unsurprisingly, Coventry now have possession back. It's not good football, Blades. Oh, that is a great touch and a foul, surely, by John Egan. Alec, this could be a card.
It is a card.
Michael Salisbury, we often say card happy, but on this occasion, Alec, do you agree? No, he had no choice. He had to book him there.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he quite clearly just needed to bring him down by any means.
He's pulled him.
Yeah, he has.
Did he, though? I mean, that's the next question I've got for you. Did he need to bring him down? He wasn't the last man.
Yeah, it's hard, that split-second decision. You have to decide whether your kind of teammate is going to come over or not. And I'm not sure who exactly it was, but I guess you kind of factor in their relative pace. Like Wage, you have to do that split-second processing, and it's very difficult to say for certain.
No, you're not wrong. Basham, I think, was the man who would have been covering. I would have
maybe not blessed with blazing pace.
but Egan's done this before. It's silly from Egan. We've seen him do this now several times. This isn't a new John Egan thing, and some people are questioning John Egan's performances this season. He's done that before. But anyway, here's that free kick. I said before in the preview, Hamer has a good long-range shot, and he obviously watched it because he fancied it. It wasn't a decent effort in the end. It goes high wide and not very handsome, and League One Wes would have had that covered all day and twice on Sundays.
He's kind of the sort of player we're missing. I mean, I would have loved him to have gone for him in the summer, for example. He's definitely a very interesting kind of combination of defensive and attacking qualities.
Couldn't agree more. Hamer, a player that I think would have been a superb signing for Sheffield United. Really, really good player. That
probably
player,
not. You can't imagine it would have been a huge signing. A kind of few million probably could have done, but maybe we didn't have that. I don't know.
Who can say? We've certainly spent quite a bit over the past few years, more than any other Sheffield United team in history by a long, long way. Here is, of course, finances have changed as well. But it's all relative. It's all relative, but I think even percentage-wise, the Blades have spent more in the last few years than at any other time. I can't remember when we've spent that kind of money. It's been interesting spending. Let's put it that way. I don't want to get too controversial.
When was that? I mean, it's been a long time since we had 2 Premier League seasons back to back as well. So,
yeah, 93 394. So the first season of the Prem and then the second one.
So I was about 5. Yeah, I don't know what we were spending there.
It wasn't 23 million. I know that. So
I think Tyrone probably bought you a team back then.
Yeah, it would have bought you an absolute team. It's about what Blackburn Rovers spent on a side that went on to win the Premier League, and when suddenly everyone at my school in York had decided to support Blackburn, a decision I hope they've regretted every day since.
Yeah, I mean, they could have been cheering on York City, who are... Yeah. No.
All right. Bobby enjoyed that one. He's not a big fan of York City. Right, on that right-hand side, with Kane looking to play that ball into the very busy Hamer. He's been absolutely everywhere. And here's Darboe. Can he get a shot away? He does. It's not a good one. The Blades will block. It's a lot of men back. Bodies everywhere for Sheffield United. Far from the sort of side you'd hope to see at home, taking the game to Coventry. If anything, Coventry now taking the game to the Blades. It's a million miles away from the kind of Sheffield United we saw last time we were in this division. Or even under Neil Warnock, when I always felt like, I mean, it wasn't the best football under Neil. Let's not get memories twisted. But I always felt like we'd be in a game. Even if we went a goal down, I always thought, still could win this. I don't feel like that now.
I mean, it's pretty. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear. Commentary are full of confidence at the moment, and confidence perhaps not naturally flowing through the veins of Blades players, to say the least.
But do you also put any stock in Blades fans who've said, because the start's been so bad and the fans are all expecting nothing, that actually the Blades have got nothing to lose? They should just relax now. It's a hiding to nothing because they're not going to go down realistically, because so every team's getting points deducted will win the thing if it carries on like that. But also, there's no real pressure because we're not going to get promotion this season, according to 90% of the fans that we've spoken to.
I don't think. I don't think we're at the stage in the squad yet where, I think if you look at what they're saying, it's still like, if we put a run of wins together, we're right up there because it's such a congested championship. We're
it is
9 points off the playoffs, for example. Are we entirely? Obviously, Fulham look kind of class above to me in terms of their squad and things. But then, I mean, Bournemouth started very well. But when we did play them, we matched them for long periods, and then there was that penalty decision, etc. Are West Brom going to manage to be able to keep up this intense style and be right up there for the whole season? So it feels pretty early days for that kind of fatalistic mindset to set in, I would say.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Okay, ball played around at the back. Ben Davies likes doing that, and then it's that long ball. Now we're resorting to long ball, which is going to be won every day by 𝐍𝐸𝐸 when he's up against Billy Sharp or Ndai. It's two small strikers playing together. I spoke about how it would have been fun to see Mark McNulty and Che Adams play regularly together on the preview. Two small strikers. I think that would have caused more damage. At the moment, we're seeing a ball played into the box, which I think was always going to be cleared up. I only say that, of course, not so much McNulty. I think Sharp's a much better player than McNulty. But Che Adams, when it comes to finishing, that boy's got it. I saw his fantastic goal for Scotland in the week as well. Really well taken.
Yeah, he's been playing well for Southampton too.
Yeah. I am significantly more Scottish than Che Adams, as you possibly are as well. But
there's time yet for that call up, Hal.
I don't know. I may, as I approach my my birthday in 5 days, I may just have to admit that chances of being called up for Scotland and never having played professional football are probably gone. But if they did call me up, I would definitely take them up on the offer.
Maybe they have a team of radio DJs.
Maybe, and if so, stick me on the left wing because no one wants to play there, and I've got a left foot. Not a good game. If you're thinking, what on earth are we wittering about? Well, you should have seen this in the build-up. But this is a game that I would say is going to be won by one mistake and possibly only one goal. We did predict, you did, Alec. I'm not going to sound quite so silly. You predicted goals in this one. It doesn't look that way.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I just think, as it goes on, games tend to open up, chances happen, and then who knows what can happen. You can get.
Look at that. Free kick.
It wasn't great.
Opportunity to get things moving. Why take it so quickly? What's the rush? The game's 28 minutes old.
I mean, you're trying to catch the defence off guard, but you need a better ball than that. Yeah,
you can't play a ball so hard over the... I mean, and exactly, you're right. They're trying to catch the defence off. Of course they are. But your defence has got to be alert to stop that. And also your striker has got to be alert. And that wasn't the case there. And even if he was, that ball was way overplayed. And we see that so often, even with those balls that are like the slide rule passes that the Blades play, those balls in behind. they're so often overcooked. I say that term overcooked on these watch-alongs every single time. I never say it at any other time in the week, but I say it so often on these because we keep doing it. And passing is one of the first things you learn, when you're about 5 and you start playing football. Anyway, here's a chance for the Blades. That looks like a foul.
Passing under pressure is a bit harder than just.
Indeed. You're kind of
there's a bit of aggro.
Yeah, I think there was a foul that was it was Hamer, I believe, who brought his man down. That's more frustration, I would imagine, from the Blades as well, because that was a chance to really get things going.
Yep. Looks like another yellow for Mr. Salisbury.
It's going to be the second booking of the game, one for the Blades for John Egan. And I thought this was Hamer. It was good. I'm not gone mad. Who's going to pick this up? A very industrious player. We've already highlighted him. And it says a lot about a player. I don't know if you would think this way as well as I do, Alec. I normally just try and watch our team. But when you notice a player from the opposition, they're either having a really great game.
Gibbs White and Hamer going head to head, quite literally.
Yeah, I don't think that Gibbs White will get maybe just a word there. But I will. Yeah. Interesting that Dodgy says in the comments that reminds me of Adkins. You know what? We've had a few people say, and I won't say who because one of them is a former player, that Slav is similar to Nigel Adkins in his management style. Someone who's worked under it, and who's told us that in confidence, and also the way that he kind of philosophizes. So it's interesting you say that. Oh, so booking for Bogle
must be saying something, I guess.
Must be, because he wasn't the one who put head to head, was it? It was Morgan Gibbs White.
I thought it was Gibbs White.
Yeah, interesting. So booking for Bogle. So 3 bookings. We mentioned how Salisbury likes throwing the cards around. He's just getting ready for Christmas. We're on 30-30. If you're trying to get another with us.
10 minutes.
Yep. So here we are, free kick for Sheffield United, just slightly right of centre as we look to try and get something going, but it is taken really poorly, straight into the hands of Simon Moore, and it's turgid football. It's not good from the Blades. It's lacking that buzz, that zip, that urgency. The only urgency we saw was with an overhit free kick. It's not good. Chance for O'Hare to get something rolling, and it's going to fall. Oh, could have been an option for a half volley, but instead it's going to be played to Kane for Coventry on this right-hand side, trying to get that ball to the byline. Pulled back, not a good pullback. And I'll tell you, someone who's been everywhere today in a good way. He's up for it today. Is John Fleck. He wants to impress against a team that I know he was a Player of the Year for Coventry. But if you go on the Coventry forum and you read some of Panchero's brilliant view froms, Coventry fans don't like John Fleck, and I don't really know why.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's certainly been good for us overall over the course of his tenure.
Yeah, pop in the comments if you're a Sky Blues fan why Coventry fans don't like John Fleck. Obviously, if you're one that does like John Fleck, you can tell us that as well. Bogle came in late and gave Hamer a push. Thank you, Captain Kosa. I mean, Robert, if you want to do the match reaction, just let me know, because I've got such a terrible short-term memory. All that Dabo ball was looking to get in behind there with Kane, but I tell you what, it was another one that was slightly overplayed. But this is not good football. The crowd, I'm reading from the comments, has been poor. So we've got I won't say the name. Got TM who's saying so poor. The crowd is down. Grumbles and booing. If Alec, are you worried about fans turning?
I mean, I guess it can happen, but I mean, I find it difficult. I mean, I certainly don't watch and think, oh, we're terrible. It's just lacking a bit of spark, as you said. You know, there's certainly effort and endeavour there, and I guess it could kind of get a vicious cycle where there's not much for the crowd to get excited about, and then that negative atmosphere can carry on to carry through to the players. So yeah, it's a bit concerning. And I mean, I don't want to criticise anyone there. To me, it feels like a bit of an overreaction. But yeah, I
think the daughter agrees. Naylor619 says, go on Twitter and you'll see plenty of Blades fans who don't like John Fleck either. Yeah, I try if I can to stay off Twitter. So I like to talk to you in the DMs, but I don't like to read too much of the hashtag Twitter Blades stuff because
I try to read posts and avoid comments because otherwise you go a bit mad.
You can do. Cov fan listening from Germany. Great to have you on board. Ich möchte etwas essen. Alec, I would imagine you speak a bit of German.
Yeah, a bit. I'm supposed to say something now.
Yeah, you've got it now. You can't just say yes. You can't even say it in German. Yes, I speak
Dieses
German.
Spiel
All
ist
right.
nicht
No
toll.
further questions. Go on, say that again. I talked all over.
Dieses Spiel ist nicht toll.
And what does that mean?
This game's not great.
Actually, yours was far more relevant than mine.
What was yours?
Ich möchte etwas essen. You know what that means?
Something.
Yeah, I do want to eat something. It's not a lie.
You've got
Because
a while to go, I think.
Yeah, oh god, this game. Only 34 minutes, 02. That's where we are. I lived in Germany twice, so that's sort of a weird thing to say, but I worked in Germany over 2 spells in 2011 and 2017. That's going to be a corner.
And I've got a German girlfriend.
What does your wife think about that? Right, it's a corner to Coventry. On this right-hand side, it is Kane, I believe, who might take this one. Chef Paul, more noise coming from Alex Baby than the crowd. God, that's a terrible. One day Alec will take, I would imagine, your daughter to a game, and that'll be an opportunity for her to really G the boys on as she's doing today. Got to respect that.
Yeah, it's a while off that.
It's a while off, as it is with my nephews, my sister, looking at the current state of the crowd at away games and saying, yeah, I think not. Right, it's Kane.
Gyökeres, which is ambitious.
Oof, and that's well won. It's a Norwood style corner that Coventry have taken there. If you thought we were going to miss him today, he's still playing, but in blue. And that's a good ball in from Hamer. I have to say that's a very acrobatic, possibly unnecessary clearance from Morgan Gibbs-White. He's just trying to give the crowd something to give them a lift, but totally unnecessary to do an overhead kick in the edge of your own box. But it is the most exciting thing that's happened.
I was going to say, it's probably the most interesting thing that's happened all half.
I mean, for my match reaction, that's my only note so far. Egan decides to play that ball back to Wes. I don't like that decision. Perhaps it's because he wasn't sure who was behind him. So just thought he'd give a keeper who's hardly been in the team a chance to be put under enormous amounts of pressure. And that's a ball crossed in, which Wes will deal with. Only just. I mean, that's right on his line.
Yeah, he seemed to go closer to his line, which was slightly worrying. But no, he's looked pretty good so far. Confident. Hasn't had an enormous amount to do, but looks composed, looks alert, looks assured.
Absolutely does. I'm more confident with him than anyone else we've seen today. By the way, there are options on the bench for the Blades today that could perhaps change things. Because at the moment, it needs a change. I'd almost be tempted to do something in the first half. The likes of Freeman, Burke, Brewster, McGoldrick, Jackie Longthrow, Baldock. There's options.
Bench too.
Is Osborne on the bench?
I think so.
I will have to double check. Osborne is on the bench. You're right.
Yes, he is.
Ball headed back by Sharp and cleared.
There was another kind of nearly moment where it looked like a chance might occur, but it didn't.
Yeah, we've had a few of them.
Yeah, we've had a lot more of those than actual chances for both sides. Really, I can't really recall either side having a significant chance.
Yeah. By the way, I've said Baldock, haven't I? And I meant Osborne. So quite right with that one. Ozzy is on the bench, so maybe Ben Osborne could be brought in. I have to say, if I was picking the team for today, Osborne would be in it from the start, just because this is a game which it needs someone.
One of our better players this season.
Well, absolutely, but the way that Hamer is controlling everything because he's everywhere, I would have had someone like Osborne there as well. Howrahan's just picked up a yellow. I mean, I'm not happy to say I was right, but this has been a game where the referee we knew was going to have a big impact. It is the correct decision. It was Hamer
trying to wrestle Hamer's head off. So,
but Hamer's seeing so much of the ball. We can't keep fouling him. This isn't the way to stop him. He's a very, very talented player. What it was Hamer trying to get that ball past Howrahan. Howrahan initially with the kick, that didn't work. So then pulled the shirt, and that's very similar to what we saw John Egan doing. It's really poor. Is there a betting option to stick £5 on both teams to bore? At the moment, it's like both teams could lose. If you do want to waste £5, then get involved in the super chat with this watch along for today, because so far, I'm just going to quickly get my calculator out and double check. Yes, we've had 0 so far for the super chats, and I'll blame Alec for that. And maybe some super chat for your daughter. That could be that'd be a way of pulling at the heartstrings. 38-22 gone. Blades 0, Coventry 0.
She looks happier than anyone at Bramall Lane right now.
And I don't blame her. She sounds like she's having a whale of a time, probably because she's not watching the football.
But she's finally got that food she was asking for.
Ace. Dabo's played a few passes that have gone straight to Blades players. He's possibly been our best player so far. That looks like could be offside for Bogle. I think that he knew that, which is why he's checked his run. And Morgan Gibbs-White didn't pass the ball to. Sorry, and Dye didn't pass the ball to him. And Hamer again. Who else going to bring that ball away for Coventry now? And that's a really incisive outfoot pass, but it was read superbly by Christopher Basham, who then decides to bring the ball forward, and very intelligent play wins a free kick. I think that was generous.
Yeah, perhaps. I was just thinking that that's exactly the sort of pass that if you're a Blades fan, you grumble about. If you're a team in poor form, if you're a team in good form, you're like, well, he's trying to do the right thing. So it's all about kind of perception, so much of it.
I agree. That's absolutely right. And it was the right thing to try and do, but it was only because Basham, he really is. I'm a dedicated follower of Basham, a really good reader of the game.
Yeah,
Thought that deserved more, Alec, to be honest.
What?
Dedicated follower of Basham. I'm not going to get anything.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but he has a few kinks in his game.
Nice.
I think you have to be to keep playing at this standard at 34.
Is he 34? Wow.
I think so. Someone probably tell me I'm wrong, but
From quarter pounders to launching counters.
yes.
That's arguably. Oh, I thought a foul on Billy Sharp. The referee has decided to go the other way. Interestingly, in America, they say a foul on, and it's the other way around. It means the other thing. Yeah, you win a foul. They said, it's a foul on.
Yeah.
The player has won it, but they're very strange in the States.
Yes.
It was Hyam, by the way, who was pushing Billy Sharp over and somehow won a free kick. So it's a free kick to Coventry. We're on 41-26. Not a good game. I'm begging for something to happen in the second half. We need changes, Blades. We need things to spark us into life. On that bench for Sheffield United, Osborne, Robinson, McGoldrick, Freeman, Burke and Brewster. So those are the options for United today that could be brought on and make things happen second half. Alec, anything you would change at half-time? Because of the players that are all on bookings, it's one thing to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe half-time is a bit early, but I certainly would like to see Osborne maybe around 60 if things don't change. And I pretty much always want to see Brewster on the pitch more than he is, so I'm still of that opinion.
Yeah. And his Coventry trying to get forward again before half-time and maybe nick a goal. It's been a game which I believe deserves to be 0-0 at half-time. No one will watch this first half again except someone who's maybe got to do a match reaction and try to remember what's happening. Dabo into who else but Hamer. He's actually both-footed, but he's better with his right. Plays that ball out to Kane. Can he get that ball whipped in? It's a poor cross, and Wes, who's dealt with all of them.
If you want to be positive, we've limited Coventry pretty well, who are flying and in fourth and scoring lots of goals. So there are positives to take from it. But yeah,
I like this guy. It's the way to look at it.
Yeah, there are always two. Well, not always, but usually two ways to look at things.
Yeah, there are some instances throughout history.
If you lose 5-0, it's quite hard to find the silver lining in the mushroom cloud, as you might call it.
Thanks to Scott, who's falling asleep. But I know you're referencing the game. Also, Matthew's going to Reading. If you see me, Matthew C., please come say hi. It'd be great to meet as many Blades as I can at that game, because it's just before my birthday, that game. So come up to me, say hi, and give me a present.
A stat that we've only scored 5 first-half goals this season is possibly not hugely surprising.
It's not great. This game reminds me a lot.
Cardiff apparently have 0, so
Right, yeah, but this game reminds me a lot of Luton away.
Also, I think 3 of those versus Peterborough.
No, Peterborough, we were level at half-time. Okay. We were 1-1, I think. Okay, and then all the action happened second half.
It was definitely 1. I think there was 1. Were there 2 versus Hull in the first half? Anyway, this is probably interesting.
1 versus Hull, I think. And then I think Egan got 2 in the second half. Oh, you're putting me on the spot here. My brain is bad. Maybe the Blades will be good.
Sends it out to Bogle on the right wing, who's coming inside, plays it back to, I think it's Howran. Plays a kind of floated ball out to Stevens. Stevens cutting in, tries a shot. And
right foot.
It's another one of those that didn't curl. It just kind of went straight to the sidings. What are they called? Advertising hoardings.
Absolutely, yes. It was a nice idea, but if that's how you are...
Primary as Fender.
Absolutely, with the left foot. And if that's how you're planning to win games of football, That's not right. That's not, the way that you should be looking to win games is from training ground moves, pass, movement.
He's not actually Kevin De Bruyne, apart from in his head.
Yeah, I mean, of course, against Brighton, he scored a wonderful goal into the roof of the net, but that was with his left foot, and that's where I'd always fancy him to actually have. But if he's going to do something like that, at least try and get into a position where you're in a better opportunity to shoot. That wasn't the best.
I thought he was going to cross it, but then
he should have crossed it.
Wasn't a cross.
He definitely
wasn't
a cross.
And it's even worse than we thought it was.
This is good from Morgan Gibbs-White. We're on 44.07. Oh, he's played the ball behind Sharp. He might get a bit lucky and get that ball back. But then, of course, Hamer gets it away. And if there's one player I wish we'd signed, it's Hamer. He has looked really, really dangerous. That isn't a bad ball either. Can Basham get the legs? Not quite. That's really good. He's wrestling him. I don't like the look of that. Could easily pick up a booking. 𝐍𝐸𝐻. That's great defending in the end, though. Wonderful. Hamer on that ball. He's probably had more touches than anyone else today. That's
you would suspect, yes.
A free kick, but yeah, 𝐍𝐸𝐻 there. God, he was strong, but then that defensive solidity that you get from Basham, incredible. He never gave up. He didn't have the legs. That's not on him. He's never had the legs, but he stuck with his man and got a foot back, and I think that was wonderful. An example of why Chris Basham has achieved and done so much with so little. I think he'd be the first to admit that at this level. Fantastic. And he even stepped up, of course, in the Premier League and never let the Blades down. Arguably could have been player of the season every season since Chris Wilder came in, and even now when Wilder is no longer here. Morgan Gibbs-White trying to wrestle that ball back, and Dabo will bring it away to Hamer. Dabo's going to try and get something going on this left-hand side. He's got Hourahan up against him, and then Bogle, who knows that should be his man. Oh, that's really good play from Hamer, who managed to get past one and then two. And the ball's not being played the way that Coventry would have wanted there, because United have possession back with Ben Davies, who might look to go easy. He does. He goes all the way back to Wes Foderingham. It's so predictable with Sheffield United at times. You can see what they're going to do. They're not wanting to take risks. And Alec, that's got to be something that changes for second half and, of course, longer term in the future of this season.
Yeah, you can see that there's not a lot of... Yeah, it's just a bit slow. And there's not, a great deal of confidence in playing forward, although he does play forward here. Sharp on side. Yep, he's got it on the right wing. Oh, on the left wing, sorry. So now it's to Ender. Now it's Morgan Gibbs-White, who tries to take on his man, doesn't work, gets tackled. Yeah. I mean, there's certainly effort there. It's just not quite.
It's the creativity. I think that's what's lacking.
Definitely slow. It does feel like there's a huge burden on Morgan Gibbs-White, and I don't really know who else. I can Njai in kind of moments, but we kind of need someone else who's got kind of the confidence to try things like that, and I think that would definitely make a difference. That's something we have a lot of kind of solid players who are playing kind of solidly.
Half time, not good. Really drab, really lacking in invention, creativity. I think that deserves booze at half-time, Blades. That has been really poor. It's not been fun, that. A drab 0-0, Coventry City coming to Bramall Lane and looking like they're the team that were recently relegated from the Premier League. And you could say that about a lot of sides that have come to Bramall Lane this season, apart from Peterborough, because this has been just so lacking in ideas. Alec, did you expect it to be that bad?
I mean,
that says it all.
I certainly hope for something better, but at the same time, we've seen a lot of games like this.
We have. Robert, as you know, I am going to go for my half-time ablutions.
Of course.
And I'm going to leave you to give us your summary. And I'm also going to wish Bobby the very best. He will be leaving us for the second half. And thank you, Bobby. You are a star. He knows he's going to help me out with match reaction a bit later. But have a great rest of your day. Bob Aldinio. Robert, let us know your thoughts. I will be back in a flash.
Yeah. So I'm Alec. I'm just going to run through some of the stats that I have here. Although I'm realizing now that my stats aren't really that useful. But possession-wise, 53 for Sheffield United, 47 for Coventry. We have 3 shots, none on goal. They have 5 shots, 1 on goal. Only 3 fouls for us, yet 3 yellow cards. They have 10 fouls and 1 yellow card, so maybe a little unfair there. And and only one kick in the or one corner kick in the game for Coventry City. So overall, a interesting yet slow, very uneventful half.
I mean, I think the stat that sums it up is XG 0.15 for us, 0.21 for Coventry. So yes,
Yes,
it's kind of felt like that. Neither team has gotten close to scoring at all.
Yep, yeah, and this has looked like a game. I mean, I predicted 1-0, and I stand by that. We can definitely, obviously still win 1-0, but where that goal comes from. I don't know. The first 20 minutes felt okay. Like we were getting folks moving. I put in the comments that I thought Fleck was doing really well with quick passes. He wasn't staying with the ball. He wasn't trying to do too much. But as the half went on, I think we recessed into that I have the ball, but we haven't done anything, so I need to do something personally, rather than trusting each other to make runs and trying to find the pass behind the other players. We're instead trying to take them on, and that doesn't work with this crop of players, other than maybe Morgan Gibbs-White and 𝐍𝐸𝐻𝐍 and 𝐍𝐸𝐫𝐝 occasionally being able to do that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair.
So, but I did. Let's see some of the comments coming in. See, Scott says second half get Brewster, Didsey, and Freeman on. Luke Freeman also back from injury. Alec, I don't know what you make of seeing him in this game.
I mean, I find it hard to imagine he'll kind of instantly add something. I think when we were kind of discussing it, I think Osborne would be top of my list in terms of players to bring on. Just because I think he adds something on that left hand. Yeah, I think left hand side he's normally on, isn't it?
Yeah, yep.
Add something on the left hand side that we don't really have otherwise in this formation. And I definitely want to see. I mean, maybe, and then probably a bit later, I'd want to see Brewster on as well. He scored our last goal. He, by all accounts, had a pretty good Outfield on 21s. Hopefully, he's full of confidence, etc., etc. So, I want to see him on the pitch. I mean, we kind of all expected he'd start, and he didn't, obviously.
Yeah. Let's see other comments here. Folks not liking Howerhand, maybe getting Norwood back on. I don't think Howerhand's been poor.
No.
And obviously we haven't had that many set pieces, just the one or two free kicks. But it looked okay. At least the one from the right hand side.
I mean, I think he's been fired and Norwood suspended, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
So I mean, that's not going to happen. I can't really think of anyone else. I mean, if we did make a change, who we'd put in that position, to be honest.
Right. Yeah.
So
I'm saying he's definitely playing deeper. It's almost like he's deep on kind of like the middle to the right. Fleck has got almost the whole left of the midfield to himself, and then Morgan Gibbs-White is more advanced, but also kind of on the right. So it's like an offset kind of triangle from what I've seen throughout most of the first half.
Yeah, it looks like that. And I don't know, I wouldn't aim too much kind of vitriol. I mean, he's been fine. He's not, I think he's done a decent job defensively, and he's not really managed to get on the ball and make things happen. But then we can't really pick out anyone who's really managed to get on the ball and make things happen. So
yeah,
I think there's an element of just kind of scapegoating there.
Certainly. Hal is back.
Hal is back, Blades. Right, reminder, I'm going to Reading. So if you are going to that game, come and say hi. That is the most exciting thing we talked about in the first half. It's been 0-0. There's no urgency. There's no immediacy. There's no plan. I think what Slav will be pleased about is he's gone with three at the back and it hasn't worked. And he will be delighted because the press have been saying, why don't you go back to this 3-5-2? And he's kind of bullishly been pushing it off. He changes it today, and I think he'll say, well, that didn't work either. See? So he'll be the only one who's pleased about this because it just hasn't worked. Do you think he might even change formation, Alec, at halftime?
I mean, we certainly can't rule it out. I think you try changing personnel before you try changing formation personally. But obviously you can also do both at the same time if you really want to kind of give them a jolt. So yeah, I mean we could. I could certainly, as the game progresses, I could see, theoretically at least, a back four should be more attacking than a back five. So yes, that's a switch we could make.
Yeah, and what about subs? So you probably already discussed that while I was away, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, I mean, as you're kind of saying, I think Osborne's top of my list in terms of players to come on, just because he gives us something on that left hand side we don't seem to have otherwise, and he's, I think, probably form-wise one of our best players this season. And then Brewster will be next up on my list because he scored that great goal versus Blackburn. He had a pretty decent outing for the under-21s by all accounts. He should be fairly confident, and I think we all thought he'd start, and obviously he didn't. And it would be great to see him on the pitch.
Pop in the comments what changes you would like to see at the break. I have someone at my door, so I'll be back in a moment.
About to say, while Hal's gone, I'm gonna dissent with him. I don't think the five at the back has been poor today. Defensively, when we look at our last couple games, we've conceded goals that we shouldn't be conceding. Today we have not. So I think from one half of the football, we've been doing well with five at the back, but the issue is scoring goals, and we have not looked like we're gonna score a goal at least through most of that first half, bar maybe a 5-10 minute spell in the middle there. But I wouldn't like you said, Alec, I wouldn't switch the system at halftime. I'd maybe switch the personnel. I like Osborne, I think, because of the ability to run the left side with more width. Maybe even switching him out for Enda Stevens. Enda hasn't had to do any real defending work in the first half, and Osborne provides, I think, a bit better pace and attacking width from the wingback position. We saw it a little bit last year, so I would put Osborne on for Stevens as my halftime change if I would make one.
I mean, Osborne at left back always concerns me a bit, to be honest. I guess, I mean, it's definitely better at wing back than at the left back. But yeah, just defensively, it would make me nervous. And yes, I guess the question is, as the game draws on, how much do you want to kind of gamble on slightly risking that defensive solidity to hopefully make things happen going forward?
Right. Been looking at the comments, and I like the idea of bring Leon Clark back from Jordan, which made me think we should absolutely utilise the opportunity to use this again in the match preview because Leon is one that's remembered so fondly. Scoring against the Pigs is probably one of my favourite moments, but I think those 4 goals against Hull, an opportunity to relive some better moments while the game has been so drab. But he's not the only one. Coming up on our channel soon, we'll be having an exclusive for members interview with Michael Doyle, captain, of course, as you can see there on both arms for both clubs.
One that's exactly the same, just in different shirt.
As does this man.
Yes. Which I think is about 10 years between the picks.
Easily. And of course, could have been a Blade long before, but the fax machine wasn't working when he was going to sign from Rangers with a player called Kyle Hutton, and neither ended up joining the Blades at that time. But we got our man in the end.
Those bloody fax machines.
Those fax machines. Who uses a fax machine? And the man in the mask, Mark McNulty. We probably couldn't find a picture of him celebrating a Blades goal, but there he is, celebrating one, Sparky McNulty for Coventry. And I also just
a couple in League One.
He did, of course. I'm being silly, but I thought we'd have a quick look at the lineup because a lot of people said that Bobby was an idiot and that I should punch him in the face, sack him, and dock his wages. Those were the kind of comments because there was no way that we were going to play 3 at the back. Lovely Katie, who's part of our Fans React, got a lot of grief on Twitter for saying that we would play 3 at the back. Well, poo to you with knobs on, because that's what happened. And Bobby got this right by the looks of it. So let's give him a little pat on the back because he deserves it when he was getting quite a bit of grief. So, yeah, absolutely. Well done, Bob Aldinho. That's kind of how it's looked in the first half with Basham playing in the defensive position, but also not forgetting his overlapping routes. And, Robert, wasn't it good to see?
Yeah, and we were talking, it's definitely been a much stronger defense from us today. We haven't conceded silly goals. None of these 1 or 2 mistakes are going to cost us with this formation. But certainly, Basham has been doing some overlapping. He's made some runs into the midfield. And I actually saw Ben Davies on the left-hand side making a few as well. Not as passionate as I would say Basham's runs are, but certainly still making those, crossing from not quite as deep as a center back, but a little bit more in that defensive midfield range. So it's interesting that there are traces of this old formation that are showing up today, but unlike under the high flying times of the Wilder era in the championship, we're not getting the goals, and so I think it's a trade-off right now that this team is either going to defend to a 0-0 draw, or we're going to concede and lose a high goal scoring affair. And knowing Slav's reputation, that's probably what he's more comfortable with, is more goals for both teams. But I don't know. Personally, I'd rather get the defensive confidence up, play something that we're familiar with, and try to eke out a set piece goal, something from a corner. Egan's good in the air. We haven't had a corner yet, only one in the game for Coventry. So get Howerhand, corner kick to Egan, score a goal, and that's how we win.
Interesting. I'll just use this as an opportunity to say, if you want one of these, sorry, Alec, you've been obliterated.
I'll take this opportunity to go get a drink then.
You absolutely can. So, yeah, look at that. You've got one of the rare black and white with your name on.
Yep, customized.
And it's got red interior.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get one of them.
No,
that's brilliant. So I was going to say, if you want one of these for someone in your life for Christmas, and you also want to say how much you enjoy the fans channel, which this is. I don't like people when they say it's Nick and I. It's not. This is about you. We want more of you. If you think it's me, I don't want to hear my own voice and my own thoughts. I already know what I think. I want to hear what you think. That's what this channel's for. So if you want to sort of support that, drop us a DM on Twitter, and we will send you a link to how you can get one of these. Another way of supporting the channel. And I should have left that on longer. Alec was still busy in the drink. So your thoughts on the first half, Blades, in the chat? Absolute garbage so far. No forward threat whatsoever. Clueless. Anthony's copied and pasted that for the last 17 games, and you wouldn't be wrong. So when we look at that bench for Sheffield United, I am just going to put the team on the banner at the bottom. If I was personally going to make a change, and this is going to be controversial, Oliver Burke is a live wire that Coventry weren't prepared for because he's been out of this team for so long, and he's got pace, and if he can control that pace and not just kind of Forrest Gump run straight out of the stadium, he's a threat. And I saw him against Southampton, which might be the last time he played, and he had a very, very good first half. So I'd be tempted. Luke Freeman is another one. But Luton away was the only player, really, him and Sharp and Basham, who can come away with any credit from that dire performance. But Freeman really played well. So I've not seen too much of Luke Freeman. I'm not going to call him Freezy because I want to be sick in my mouth. But I want to see what he can do. And this game needs someone who can be a creative spark. He could be exactly that. Rhian Brewster. Hi, I'm Rhian Brewster. I think he could be someone who's on, one of the few players who's on a bit of confidence, because he finally got that goal and he captained England under 21s against Georgia in the week. So he'll hopefully be brimming with confidence because he's got that goal and he's got that pat on the back from his manager at international level that says, not only are you on form so you start for me, I think you're a leader of men. I'd like to see it. Let's see what happens. Slav will more than likely do nothing.
That's it. There you go. You switch a captain for a captain. Take Billy Sharp off, put Rhian Brewster on. Because Sharp's legs are going to go at some point in the second half. He's going to be done running. It's going to be. I wouldn't say it's my first change, but I would definitely swap Brewster for Sharp at some point.
I mean, I'm always slightly confused that we start Sharp because I think he'd be a superb impact sub for when defenses are tiring and spaces open up, because that's what he's really good at. Whereas now we knacker him by running him around for 60 minutes. And then take him off. It doesn't.
Strong stuff from Christopher. This side's no better than Adrian Heath, Kevin Blackwell, and David Weir teams. I've got to say, Kevin Blackwell's record with Sheffield United, when you look at it percentage-wise, is actually fantastic. He didn't get us playing good football, and he had really good players.
Oh, we are seeing a change.
Iliman Ndiaye off, and Didsey on. Alec, thoughts?
I mean, is it just a fitness thing? You wonder if it's just a fitness thing.
Robert?
Yeah, I don't know. Not the change that any of us were asking for. We had a lot of names thrown out, and I don't think any of us said 𝐍𝐸. So, but Slav, he surprises. He does what he wants. It's the Slavolution up in here.
It is the Slavolution, and it is televised. The Slavolution will be televised sometimes, and I don't think Sky Cameras will be coming back to Bramall Lane anytime soon because the games they have chosen have been stinkers this season. So there's your change. You've got it on the banner. Bobby has gone. I am now having to do the most of the talking and the button pressing. Wish me luck. Robert, enjoy the second half.
Disappear.
Thanks.
Okay, so we're underway. We are. If you've just joined us, we're at 45:09, 10, 11, 12.
If it gets really boring,
that's what I'll do.
Seconds.
When I'm doing radio, sometimes if I've got to get up to the news, I'll do that. But if you want to get level with us for the watch along, hopefully that helped. You should only need to get us on once. The match is on Sky Sports Football in the UK, ESPN Plus in America. Slavolution, Slavomination, more like Slavomination, like abomination. Got it. Thanks, Steve. Ball's going to be crossed in. Oh, that header just beyond. And yes, you're right, Andrew. United are going to be on Sky on Tuesday. And I mentioned in the first half that we won't be doing a watch along for that because there's only me. Nick's away. And I'm going to the game. So as much as I'd love to broadcast live from there, I'll get a banning order. So I can't do that. Actually, to be honest, right now, I'd welcome a banning order.
What, from Reading Stadium?
Here's a chance for Coventry. Oh, he's overtouched. 2 touches too many. And
the Select Car Leasing Stadium.
Yes, the Select Car Leasing, no more than Matchday Stadium. Cilla Black's former beau is no longer sponsoring the stadium. That was a decent run, actually, from O'Hare. Yeah. We think now that Coventry are playing a 3-4-2-1. I think Allen and O'Hare have pushed up, and 𝐍𝐸𝐸 is playing as a lone striker, which makes sense when you're away from home and not so much when you've got to force the issue. I've not been impressed with Dabo. I'm not going to say that too many times because he'll probably score, but he doesn't seem to be my kind of player. But Hamer absolutely does.
Yeah, Hamer definitely a potential source of harm for the Blaze.
Gosh, he just every touch he has is just really good. Here's a chance for Coventry to get a shot away on the edge of the box. It was 𝐍𝐸𝐸, that danger man for Coventry, who got that shot off on his left foot and a decent save from 𝐻𝐸. It was actually set up by John Egan. Unintentionally, of course. A throw-in, did see the first real involvement that he's had. We'll win it on this left-hand side, 30 yards away from the corner flag. And it's the John Street side. The sun has come out now. And John Fleck against his old club, having a good first half, I think it's fair to say, Alex.
Yeah. I certainly think you can't be too critical of him. He hasn't managed to... I think he started... I think it was... the other guy was saying...
Roberts.
Yes, I just kept thinking Captain Coaster because that's what comes up on the screen.
That's yes, absolutely what comes up on the screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've only had him on about 60 videos, so you're right. Who?
As the captain said, he started off very well and kind of maybe faded a little.
Yeah. But
yeah, he's been
McGoldrick just done more in 2 seconds than Ndiaye and Morgan Gibbs-White done in 45. I mean, I don't think Ndiaye had a good first half, but is that slightly harsh?
I mean, I didn't really notice McGoldrick doing anything. So,
well, he won a throw in, and
I thought there were some good touches from Morgan Gibbs-White certainly in that first.
Yeah,
half.
and he's still on the pitch.
He pulled off that spectacular defensive overhead kick.
Yes, if you missed that was for a clearance.
Yes,
arguably
on the edge of his own box.
Yeah. But hey, it was the most exciting thing that happened. It's all I've got to mention so far for my match reaction. Maybe I'll have something now as Bogle tries to find Morgan Gibbs-White. It's a lovely back heel. Oh, good foot. Oh, he's nutmegged his man. If this goes, I was going to say, if that goes back to Sharp, it had to be. But it was a nice little deflection in a Coventry sense that meant that the ball landed at Simon Moore. But great back heel.
Nice interplay between Gibbs-White and Bogle there.
Really good feet from Jayden Bogle. You're right when you said in the first half that you think he can play as a right winger. Doesn't that just prove he can?
I mean, I don't know, but I presume he's one of those who started off as a right winger and drifted back.
Possibly. No kid starts as a right back, that's for sure. The ball played back from a very good defensive position by John Egan, who stuck with his man to Wes Foderingham, who's looked very assured so far. I don't want to keep saying that because he's tempting fate, but you know what I mean. He has looked good so far.
So
And
far, so
Bogle,
good. Let's say that.
I've just remembered, it's somewhere deep in my memory warehouse, but when we played Brighton away last season, Lundstrom got sent off and Bogle came on as a right winger and scored. He can play there. I'd like to see him play there. Yeah, I'd like his first real game, and I'd like to see him play with Baldock behind. But
yeah, that'd be interesting.
Will that happen? I thought he did very well there. Looked good. Let's see what we can create in this second half with Goalkeeper, someone who is a very creative player, and I think that's probably what Slav thought. We need that. I'm not sure I would have taken off and die. I know he had a bad first half, but he can create something. He's one of those few creative sparks. His Dabo.
Oh, bit of indecision there from Wes.
Still happening for Coventry. Dancing feet, possibly brought down. This ref has only given one penalty this season, and he says it's a dive, and you know what he loves doing? Reaching for a card. It is Michael Salisbury from Lancashire who says that was a dive. No VAR in the Championship, and it's Callum O'Hare who will get a booking. Alec, your thoughts?
I'm waiting for the replay.
You're cheating. You're cheating. You can't. That's why I ask you before the replay. Then I watch the replay and I sound clever. That's how this works. I mean, he dived, but I think there was a leg before the dive.
Let's see. It's a good angle.
Dances through, one touch, two. It's a dive.
Yeah, he gets contacted and then about a second later goes over, which is, I mean, yeah, it doesn't look great on his part. So you can see
Davis arguably fouls him, but he doesn't go down at the point of contact. He waits, as Alex quite rightly saying, takes another 2 steps and then goes down, and that's why the referee is booked him for.
And I also think there's the extent to which he's manufactured that contact from Davies.
Well, Davies does go in. I mean, there's no question. He dives in. He goes completely on the floor. So he's committed for a tackle there, Davies. I'm not sure.
Definitely some nervous moments there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure what O'Hare was thinking, because if he'd stayed on his feet, pull the trigger. But you see players do that. It's a strange decision. Callum O'Hare gets a booking, his 4th of the season. We've seen a fair few in this game. I've lost count. How many? 4?
4, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 4. Here's Basham getting forward as he loves to do, then playing that ball back to Howrahan on his left foot, because he is a left footer. We'll swing that ball in across the midfield. We could, maybe that's the reason Osborne isn't involved. Could we have had that many left footers starting? Possibly not. With Fleck, Howrahan, Osborne, Davis, Stevens, Foderingham.
Whole team.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And yet, if there was 3 right footers strung across midfield, no one would say anything.
Yeah.
This is the curse of being gifted, as I have been, with a left foot. Maybe not as good, mine.
I can't remember the technical word for it now. It doesn't matter.
What, when you've used both?
No, there's one for being left-handed.
Is there?
Yeah.
If you know it, pop it in the chat, because I haven't got a clue. Also pop in the chat.
Yeah, I know it's where sinister comes from, because Latin it was like sinistera.
Ah, right, okay. Here's a chance for Jadon Bogle on this right-hand side. 52-55. Didn't cross first time, but lays it back to Morgan Gibbs-White, who does. Not a bad ball in either. And the Blades will appeal for a corner. Referee says no. He's going to give a goal kick. Billy Sharp is aghast. Ref, he says, as if that's not... Why have I not thought of just shouting ref before? Surely he'll change his mind. But the captain gets that header onto the back of Kane. It was definitely a corner. He's right to be aggrieved. Ref's got that wrong. 5 cards.
This is just his face, but I think he's probably swearing.
He's probably swearing. Yeah, this is it. Robert is. If Robert didn't live in the States, he'd do every one of these, because he spots everything. 5 cards: Bogle, Howrahan, and Egan for us, and 2 for them. I think it was. We know it was O'Hare who got one for them, and was it Hamer?
I think so.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's been very industrious, very busy. Likes to put himself about. Ball played out onto that right-hand side. As Coventry are trying to get things going now. The Blades have certainly started the second half in very much the way that they finished the first. It's not been night and day. Let's say so. We'd hope that they'd come out all guns blazing. We've had that lovely run from Bogle, but not much else to talk about. Coventry, on the other hand, could have had a penalty. Personally, I think the referee made the right decision.
Yeah, I think so. I think even if you factor in that contact, it's kind of one where I don't think it's enough for a penalty.
No, I agree with you. Another poor ball played over the top, and Morgan 𝐍𝐸𝐶 will wipe the sweaty brow. I'm not sure how he is sweaty, and it is it 𝐶inistra?
Sure.
Says Richard, trying to help you out with your.
I think it probably is. That would make sense.
Have I pronounced that right, or is it 𝐶inistra?
Just depends where you're from.
In many ways, yes. Latin. if you're from the Latin countries, it'd be pronounced completely differently. Yes. Morgan 𝐍𝐸𝐶, I think, absolutely needs to lift his game. That's a spot-on comment. He's the one that can, I think, when he gets going, the Blades can get going. And it's a bit like sometimes you say that with when Norwood plays well, Sheffield United play well. When he plays badly, Sheffield United plays badly. Maybe Morgan 𝐍𝐸𝐶 is going to have to be that player today. I thought it was going to be Fleck, but Fleck's not finished the last 10 minutes in the end of the first half the way he started them. He started really strong.
So yeah, Coventry's just sort of playing it about now. Not really, they got it in their own half at the moment, just kind of passing it between the centre backs.
It's a beard stroking game. That's been the order of the day. We're on 55-41. If you are just joining us, you want to marry up you're listening, as I'd imagine you're doing with us. No one's just going to watch us too. We're not particularly appealing on the eye. And then you watch the game. Of course, that's how the watch along works. It is on Sky Sports Football Live. 55-55. Coventry now deciding to come forward. Marauding run from Kane, then checks back, finds Hamer. That's a free kick. Michael Salisbury's going to give that one, though, all day long. And that's a free kick that is decided again. We'll just carry on. Yeah. It's a player advantage, but I think it was the foul. And I think he gave the hands to say play advantage. And it's not really an advantage that's worked out for Coventry because that was in a dangerous position.
Gone back to Simon Moore now.
Yeah, not the one for Coventry. They would have much preferred that free kick. Often you do prefer advantage. But on that occasion, I think he made the wrong call, and that'll be a throw into the Blades on this right-hand side.
But it's not like it would have been a hugely threatening free kick either. So.
You never know. Hamer's got this long-range shot on him.
That would have been seriously long.
It was 50 yards, I think, maybe 40.
That's a lot of goals from there.
Well, not with that attitude. If you're playing my team, you take shots from everywhere. It probably would have been indirect as well. I don't know. I'm not great at the rules. Despite having refereed up to the age of 12. I wasn't 12, I was refereeing up to the age of 12.
I'd be young to be a referee.
Yeah, well, you start them young and they learn the ins and outs of the game. 𝐍𝐸𝐶 there.
Like a 12-year-old refereeing an adult game.
Yeah, I don't think they'd respect him, even if he got every decision right. He or her, of course. Yes. So Blades coming forward now over this halfway line. You know that Basham's going to keep running, and he does. He lays the ball off to Morgan 𝐍𝐸𝐶, checks back inside. Not sure that was the right option, but finds Howrahan. Interesting pass. I think he was ideally looking for Fleck there, but now we've got everyone bar Egan forward. It is that overlapping centre-back style that we saw before, but it only works if Ben Davies doesn't pass the ball straight to a Coventry player, and he has done that, so Basham's had to come back and cover on the other side. Coventry are going to try and utilise this, but look how many players the Blades have got back after giving that ball away so sloppily. Dabo takes a touch on his right. A left footer, right footer combo for Dabo. Can he get the ball crossed in on his left? He'll get a check back inside on his right hand side. Oh, that's a touch that could have landed really kindly. And Allen not able to do anything with it. But that was a headed back from the Blades that landed at the foot of the Coventry striker, attacking midfielder, and he didn't swing it first time towards goal. Interesting decision.
Yeah, another nervous moment, but not actually a chance.
No, not really. And it's been a game of few and far between when we talk about chances. There's not really been a moment where I can think, gosh, I really thought they were going to score there.
Yeah, it's been a game of nearlies and could-haves and almosts.
Yeah, absolutely. And that could have been a foul, but Salisbury will let it go. He's been a referee that's tried to let things go. And I think the bookings he has done today, he's got right.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm certainly not going to pick on a ref who's only refereeing his 8th game of the season. I'm amazed at how some referees have by this stage done 17 and some have done 7.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how the process works.
Can there be that many referees? But they've got too many. Seems like they're just giving more work to some than others. And I'm sure that's exactly how it is. As that ball is headed back quite sensibly, actually, from Jayden Bogle. Read that really well. Wes will be happy with that. Wes looks tiny. as a goalkeeper. He looks like Georgie Campos. It's one for the teenagers.
I don't know how tall he is off the top of my head.
I think he's probably 6'2", but he just looks short.
Oh,
It's a shocking, a woeful pass in midfield from Harahan straight to Dabo, who's going to find 𝐍𝐸𝐻. He then takes a terrible touch himself because Chris Basham was alive to it. Basham pass one, pass two, pass three.
Poor pass.
And the final pass was intercepted quite easily in the end. Lovely to see Basham doing what Basham does best. We saw it so often in the past sort of 6 years.
Charging forward.
Is this the only way Basham, though, gets into the team, is by playing three at the back?
I mean, kind of, if it feels like it, to be honest. Like, just in terms of the decisions that have been made so far. I mean, it's hard to, we don't really see him play in a 4 match, so it's hard to say how good he'd be in a 4. I think he has done, even in his career, but not recently. So it feels like it would be we're getting refereeing info here in the comments.
It's good to get. Thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
So reform that referees have like a league table, and like essentially the better you perform, the more games you referee, and I presume the more money you make. Presumably it's some sort of F1 does seem very static. This is true, but yeah, I presume referees earn a certain amount per game, probably on top of a base salary. Wow, this is the depths we've gone to now.
It says a lot about the game. I will give you the Blades team in the banners just so you can see who is on the bench. This, of course, was the team when the match started, so you can remove Iliman Ndiaye from that. We've had that change. Iliman Ndiaye has gone off, and David McGoldrick has been brought on. That was at the start of this half, but it is 0-0, so you can also see on the bench you've got Jackie Longthrow, Ben Osborne, Rhian Brewster, Luke Freeman, Burke and Salad Fingers. Ball crossed in. Chance for Moore to come out and collect, and he does. He does very well. Nice and tidy goalkeeping from Simon Moore. Let's see what Tyler has to say. Coventry doesn't work with one up top. We need two up top. 𝐍𝐸𝐻 and Godden. Godden, of course, who got 2 goals against Bristol City.
That's a mustache, jeez.
Well, it's Movember, isn't it?
It is. I think he's the only one doing it, as far as I can tell.
I've got to say,
anyone else.
I'm strongly considering going just Tash. Apparently, a lot of the youngsters are going just Tash these days. Bobby in the background has gone for a Tash. I don't know if you saw that on the preview. He's kind of working on something.
There's something there.
There's something.
He's a young lad.
He is, and when I was his age, I could not grow a moustache.
No, I suspect I could not.
Nick has joined us all the way from his Hollybobs. Am I allowed to go back to the pool yet? Yeah, he's having a tough time out there.
Can I watch my laptop by the pool?
I wouldn't take a laptop anywhere near a pool, to be honest. But
well, you could be a decent distance from the pool, but in view of the pool.
Basham is in the top 3 performers on the pitch every single time he plays. Matthew, I couldn't agree more. Absolutely spot on. Basham has been probably the best player in this game. Right, we're going to see these changes for Coventry on 62-31. As Mark Robbins is going to ring the changes, a double substitution. I think the Blades also need to do something similar. Because the McGoldrick thing hasn't changed anything. And wow, they're making a change, which I can only assume is due to the booking. Because this is Hamer off, Godden on. Godden got 2 goals against Bristol City in that 3-2 win in Cobb's previous game. 𝐍𝐸𝐻 off and Walker on. I'm surprised 𝐍𝐸𝐻 is going off. He is the man who gets the goals for Coventry. Very much a danger man, although I'd say Hamer's been a danger man as well, so they've probably taken 2 off that I would have said before the game were most likely to make things happen. Interesting. Will it work?
Yeah, some surprising changes on the surface of it. At least maybe we could get some insight from Coventry fans in the comments about what they think.
Well, they brought goals on, is what they've tried to do. And that looked like a potential high boot from Fleck. Referee's going to let it go. Here's a chance for Coventry straight away. The changes have made an instant impact, and the Cov fans behind the goal loved that shot from Godden. As mentioned, he got 2 goals in the previous game, and he already looks lively. He's done more in a second there than we saw from any Blades player in this match so far. Got that ball on his stronger right foot. Not a clean strike, it bobbled, but League One 𝐍𝐸𝐻 absolutely equal to it.
Yes, a shot on target, which is definitely a rarity in this game.
Please make sure you like this video if you haven't already. Also, if you would like to be a member, you can hit join next to where it says subscribe on YouTube. I'll just take a moment to put our members up on screen and thank each and every one of them. I have updated it as we have one new member today. And if you'd like to be involved in the super chat, all the money that you give to this channel will be helping its running costs. Very soon, we're going to be doing a stream for charity as well, which is something we're really keen on. And also, we'd like to give a shout out to sufcmoments.co.uk, who give money that you spend there on their beer mats to Sheffield Children's Hospital. So sufcmoments.co.uk if you want some beer mats for Christmas for you or a loved one. A terrible pass from Billy Sharp when he was looking to get Morgan Gibbs-White in. Billy, frustration, I think you can tell. But maybe, the referee's given that free kick on halfway. I was just about to say, I think Billy, because he's had quite a poor game, might be the next change.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that would make sense. I certainly, based on the performance in this game, you wouldn't be particularly surprised to see him come off. I guess the only argument would be that, I think it's certainly an argument that he's the best finisher at the club if a chance does fall to him. So I guess that would be the only reason you might think to keep him on. Yeah, and we do have some Coventry insight here if you want to.
Yeah, Tyler, you asked for Coventry insight, Alec, and Tyler has said Godden is very lively when he's playing with a partner, so not sure about Tyler Walker. Would have preferred to keep 𝐍𝐸𝐸 on. But interesting. So Nick has, by the way, said he played football with 𝐍𝐸𝐫𝐶, went to his school. I maybe have elaborated the fact that he played football with him, but, I'm an anecdote chameleon.
Carl Walker went to my school.
Hey? That's a massive shout.
He was in the year below.
Did you ever have any interaction with Kyle that you can share?
No, not really that I can remember. I just remember, it was talked about, there was a kid who was quite good at football. I think that was quite the extent of my knowledge. I think we knew
they might be talking about me.
I think we knew he was like a youth team player at the Blaze, but he wouldn't have been the only one. It was quite a big school. So.
Yeah, good touch from David McGoldrick as he tries to bring that ball on this right-hand side and get a cross in. It's not going to beat the second man, and that was a potential penalty shout there. I thought Morgan Gibbs-White got the ball across his man, but Morgan Gibbs-White got a bit of a whack on the thigh there. Did you think there was any question of a penalty?
I thought it was more of a shout than a penalty. I don't think you get one for that, really.
It was 𝐍𝐸𝐸𝐸 as well as the player.
Context. I
would say that's nowhere a penalty in any game of football.
It is a penalty shout, but it's definitely not a penalty.
I would love Morgan Gibbs-White to cut out some of the going down in the box. Oh, it's a poor touch from Fleck. And he's given the ball straight back to his old team. Not good to see at all from John Fleck, who's had a bit of a second half like Jimmy Fleck. It was Ben Sheaf who he gave the ball to. Ball in that midfield with Allen, who's dropped back a little bit. He was playing a bit further forward when the first half ended, kind of supporting 𝐍𝐸𝐸𝐸, who's now gone off. And I believe that Coventry will have gone with Allen dropping back and two up top in Walker and Godden.
That's a nice ball from Fleck.
It really is. Perhaps the Blade should start to match up with Coventry if they've gone 2 up. They're obviously looking to win this game, and United should really be forcing the issue at home.
Yep, 6-7 minutes, maybe leave it a few more. But yeah, you'd want to see a more attacking change fairly soon.
Oh, it's Didsy who loses the ball on the edge of the box. He's not really playing as a striker today, David McGoldrick, because he often doesn't. He drops so deep. So I can't count him as playing up top solely with Billy Sharp. But still 3 at the back for the Blades. And I'd like to reiterate, well done to Katie for predicting that would happen, who got a lot of stick with her predicted team on social media. Well, I hope there'll be some apologies.
There won't be.
No, of course there won't. It's Twitter. It's a cesspit and people are thick and awful. We're on 68.08.
I think just any decency just gets lost in
of course it is. Yeah. I try and be as nice as I can to people on Twitter, but some people speak to me in a way that you wouldn't speak to your worst enemy.
Just because you have to say we might be quite good.
Yeah, here's Fleck playing the ball out to Howrahan. It's going to be a shot from the edge. Oh, it's wide as Gibbs-White saw an opening on 68.32. Morgan Gibbs-White get that shot away, and at full stretch, Simon Moore watched it go towards the cup. Good shot.
It's not an easy chance, but it definitely is a chance.
I think he's got to go the other way to the far post.
Possibly. No, it's actually further away than it looks.
Still no shot on target though.
No. Although I don't know. I mean, we could just shoot from 30 yards straight at the keeper with never shot on target, which wouldn't be hugely useful.
But isn't it typical? Against Blackburn, we score early, and if we'd done that in this game, be winning 1-0 the way the game's played out. And yet that Blackburn game, we get that goal, but concede the 3. But we haven't looked like conceding 3 today, but we can't even get a shot on target. It just is the Blades way at the moment. It's maddening.
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating.
There's a header that's going like a 50p piece, and there's a good header. So we've seen the difference there. I mean, the centre-backs of Coventry have seemingly mopped things up. It's been reminiscent of Millwall and the way that Jake Cooper kind of dealt with everything in the air for them. I think Mufadjian's done that today. Looked like a very solid centre-back. That's good play. Blades winning that ball back. Bogle lays it off to Morgan Gibbs-White. He's got the tricks. He's got the skill. He plays the ball in. Here's a chance for 𝐍𝐸. Oh, he's got to do better. He's got to keep it down. He's fired it over the bar, and it's 2 chances in 2 minutes for the Blades as we approach the 70th. And what an opportunity for David McGoldrick. It's one that he will want back. Still no shot on target.
It's great work from Gibbs-White to set it up. He plays the ball across, and he gives McGoldrick just hammers it over the bar.
Why? Why does he hit it like that?
Oh, I guess, I don't know, rush of blood to the head.
Got to get over it, 𝐍𝐸. He's got leaning back. He's doing everything wrong. And he's better than that. I mean, one thing with 𝐍𝐸, is that when he gets his shooting boots on, he can hit the target. We've seen a season last season when he was exceptional in front of goal, and we've seen a season before when he's had every shot like that. Maybe it's every other season.
Yeah. You just often seem better with like poor chances than good chances.
Oh yeah, I think that's absolutely true. I think that's a really good point. 𝐍𝐸 is good at scoring the impossible goals that are worldies and the tap-ins and elude him, as we saw. The skill there, ridiculous. 𝐍𝐸 tried to hit it with his own foot onto his heel and then twist around his man, but forgot that there was bylines in football.
Also, the ball just
So 𝐍𝐸, that miss against was it Millwall, the one that was on the line?
I think so. Yeah.
That's impossible to miss. But yeah, we've seen him score goals from range. Just can't get my head around it. He's a mercurial talent on his day and maddeningly frustrating off his day.
Yeah, certainly.
And that can be said for several players who, I think, admittedly, the cycle has been complete at Bramall Lane. Their sell-by date has been reached. And it's now just a question of, can you move certain players on because they're going to be on huge money.
So it's difficult to look really good in a team that's so low on confidence at the moment. You can kind of tell.
Yeah, last season's taken its toll, hasn't it? It's kind of continued on.
Yeah. That wasn't good either. I was going to say...
he's got no excuse. Morgan Gibbs-White wasn't in his team last season.
I think he's definitely done some good things this half, but I wasn't one of them.
Yeah, Nick not happy with... I don't think I did 𝐍𝐸 slander particularly. I did say on his day, he's mercurial.
An inconvenient truth, though, but
I would say that's absolutely spot on. Yeah. No, you won't get any 𝐍𝐸 bad-mouthing from me. Yes, that's a very good point, Simon. Speaking of forgetting there are bylines in football, when does Oliver Burke get brought on? I would like to see Burke brought on because at the moment this game needs something, and comedy could be the thing. I know it doesn't make sense on paper to bring Burke on with what he's actually done at Sheffield United, but this just needs something. It's frustrating
because he always gets to the point where he almost makes something happen, and then invariably, like 90% of the time, it doesn't.
Yeah, but the 2 times he did against Bristol Rovers and Manchester United, who can forget?
Certainly not you.
Certainly not me. I mean, that's the thing with Burke. He does it against the big boys and, Man United. 72, 57, 58, 59, 73.
I'm surprised there aren't more changes yet.
Oh, there's got to be more changes. 𝐍𝐸 there lays the ball on.
Goldrick on just put Slav off.
Well, he's got another chance here in the box.
Yeah, he's got the ball anyway.
What can he do? He's got 3 men on him. Does really well to find a chance to get a cross in. Oh, it's a decent ball. What a great bit of defending from Dabo. He had to get everything in front of Billy Sharp, and he did.
I've noticed, really good. For a fullback, Dabo's quite well built. So he's
he is quite adventurous. His Harahan, very adventurous. Oh, don't mind if I do. Left foot, not bad. Still not shot on target.
Yeah. I think it might have been Harahan that put that cross in for earlier as well.
It was, yeah, absolutely.
That was a lovely strike from distance, and that was very close.
Alec, that was going in all the time until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely an improvement. A couple of yeah, it's a very good defensive header from Dabo.
Brave.
Really kind of sailed through the air.
Yeah, he had Billy all over him. He's got his Patrick Vieira smelling salts on his top. 28,000 attendance. Surely the fans deserve better than this, says Francis. I think you have to agree with that. It reminds me and casts me back to the days when I used to go to the lane without a ticket and just buy one on the turnstile, and there'd be sort of 12, 14,000 there, and it'd make more noise. Times have changed. Maybe there's a sense of entitlement with some. Who can say?
Yeah, maybe. I think there's sense by expectations this season. Oh. I think there is sense by expectation. I mean, to me, like, my expectations were slightly set by the fact that we made no permanent signings in the summer. So any sort of idea that we'd, you know, have all this money to spend from coming down didn't happen. We have a squad that was constructed for a very specific purpose, which is now trying to adapt to another purpose, and I think that's quite a painful transition. So, I mean, after the summer, I never really, obviously, I mean, I didn't think it would be quite like this, but I didn't think, you know, we'd be right up there in terms of automatic promotion, certainly. Yeah, I think some definitely did. So that's part of it.
Free kick to Coventry. Yeah, Alec was not one of these HMS We the League. We have 75-37 on the clock. Coventry have a free kick in a very dangerous position. I've got a horrible feeling about this. I don't like this at all. Egan already on a yellow. Goes in with quite an agricultural challenge. That's the fairest way to describe it. And it will be a free kick right on the edge of the box, give or take a yard. And this is when Coventry score. This is when they're dangerous. They have scored late goals, as we mentioned before, a team that can come from behind and win, the team that can come from 0-0 and win. They have gained 6 points from 3 injury time goals this season. We're not, of course, in injury time yet, but this is also when the Blades tend to concede that final 15 minutes. 76-16 on the clock. A wall that could not be shorter of 𝐍𝐸𝐶 and Sharp that look like they'd rather be anywhere else on earth. I'm nervous. I don't like it. Don't like it.
Yeah.
Kane. Free kick delivered in. Where's that gone? It's the deflection off Bogle for a corner. League One Wes was watching it.
I think you have to say.
Yeah, it was. Although it did look like at the initial time he hit it, like it was going up and then coming straight back down.
It went up very high.
It did. Thankfully, it didn't. What's Simon saying? I am thinking of dragging my wife to 2 games in April. I hope they're not like this. I would never live it down.
Hopefully
I mean, at least the weather should be better.
You'd hope we're playing better by April.
Coventry corner, swung in. 𝐸𝐸𝐶, who else was going to try and win that one? He'd love a goal against the team that he absolutely adores. He is a Blade through and through, and that's a free kick to Coventry as the Blades couldn't get away. Oh, Fleck's not had the best second half.
No.
He's given away a free kick there. At least there's not been too many cards since the early flurry, which we saw 5 already in this game. I'm actually not even sure that was a foul when you see it back.
No, it's kind of one of those 50-50 ones. Seen them given, seen them not given.
Fleck agrees with me that was not a foul, but it is, according to Michael.
Sav agrees too.
Yeah, Sav definitely agrees. Michael Salisbury's given it. This referee from Lancashire. Free kick again is going to be taken by Kane, who's taken all of the free kicks and many of the corners. Chipped in, not a bad one. Wes, superb from League One. Wes, he read it well. He came out, he commanded, and he took it comfortably. Oh, and then the Blades are dilly-dallying at the back, and Harahan just going to clear that anywhere so he didn't get caught and picked off. At 78.05, if you want to get level with us, the game is on Sky Sports Football. If you'd like to be involved in the Super Chat, it would be fantastic to support the channel. Don't forget to like the video. And if you haven't yet, please do subscribe. We're on the march to 15K for the best Sheffield United fan-created content. Do subscribe to Sheffield United Way on YouTube. We've got podcasts of former and current players. We've got fans forums. And, of course, we've got these watch-alongs, and it's free.
So there's still no changes, surprisingly, which I'm, really would expect now.
It was a decent effort from O'Hare, looking to try and catch Wes off guard, but no chance for championship Wes. Really decent. He's done well today, and I have to say,
done his chances, no harm at all.
Absolutely, just looked calm. He hasn't had a lot to deal with in terms of like spectacular saves, but he's just done everything right. And coming out and claiming has been one thing that we have really missed. And he's looked confident at every corner. So yeah, I'm really impressed.
Olsen's like 6'5" or something. You think he'd be quite good at coming out and claiming, but doesn't seem to be for us at least.
Well, I mean, I believe that Olsen's heart is in it. I believe he wants to do well. He's bought Blades kits for his entire family, and his kids are wearing Olsen everything at Sheffield United. So he clearly is like, okay, I want this to work. It's just sometimes it doesn't happen for you at a club, and it can be not for like a want of trying.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an extent to which it's kind of been a bit of a disrupted defence ahead of him as well.
Constantly changing defence,
exactly.
Not just players, but formation system today with 3 at the back, as Katie and Bobby predicted. I'm glad that Bobby didn't listen to us off air. Pre-game, a cross from 𝐍𝐸𝐫𝐶 takes a deflection. That's going to be a corner on 79:52.
Is that our first corner, isn't it?
Not it can't be the first. Can it?
I think so.
I mean, I'm not one of these people that registers that kind of thing. That's Nick's bag.
I can see if I can look it up.
No, it is. I've just checked. You're right. Wow, well spotted.
Well,
Nick and Alan.
You had 2 and we've had 1, so it's not been a match full of corners.
Should do the watchalongs ahead of time. Okay, ball whipped in. Actually, not a bad one. Moore's going to have to come and deal with this, and does, and takes out his own man at the same time.
Just fell down on his own man.
Yeah, Rose it was who got underneath that and would rather have been in the pool with Nick.
I think we'd all be in the pool with Nick.
Well, Scott says, "You know what's coming." I mean, are you nervous now at this sort of final 10?
I mean, it's hard not to be.
Yeah, it is. Wes comes out, deals with that. Roll out from Wes, 80-50.
It feels like whatever you say is going to jinx us.
You know what? People have a go at me for jinxing us all the time. I can't have jinxed us for this season and last season when I wasn't even talking about us for most of the games.
Anyway, we've got the ball now. McGoldrick popping out to the wing. Bit of Spencer 𝐍𝐸𝐫𝐶 now.
Options are plenty for 𝐍𝐸𝐫𝐶. He decides to actually play that ball, which was slightly more difficult to Morgan Gibbs-White. Gets that layoff, goes for goal, and it's saved by Simon
on target.
We finally had a shot on target. It's come in the 82nd minute from the right foot of the substitute, David McGoldrick. Alec was saying he's surprised there haven't been more changes in the second half. I've got to say, when we have got things going in that final third in the second half, we've looked better than we did in the first half.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. There's been a couple of, quite possibly. There's been a couple of, 𝐍𝐸𝐫𝐶 has had a couple of decent moments after we kind of slagged them off slightly.
Whoa.
And of course, but then obviously, like he's had a couple of these moments, but then you have to set that against that pretty glaring miss. And I mean, it's kind of the only real chance we've created in some ways.
It is. A nice touch there from John Fleck, which I think deserves a mention to 𝐸𝐸𝐻. Those two, if they can get something going, maybe. I mean, it's odd that people have said you can't play Osborne and Fleck together in the middle because they're both left-footed. 𝐸𝐸𝐻 and Fleck both left-footed. No one seems to have had a problem with that. Ball misplayed by Coventry. It's going to be picked up by 𝐸𝐸𝐻. He's actually been very good there to read that. Here's Fleck. Going to take it on. Tries to beat Allen. Couldn't quite. Morgan Gibbs-White. Looks for 𝐸𝐸𝐻. Going to check back onto that left. Again, another left-footer in Ender Stevens. Fleck chips it in. Not a bad ball either. Oh, it wouldn't fall for a blade, and it'll be cleared confidently and comfortably all the way up to halfway by Coventry. 82-47 on the clock. What do you make of that little spell?
It was good. It was a bit, moving the ball a bit quicker than we have done for much of the game, trying to probe it. It felt positive, even if nothing ultimately came of it. And it was a decent cross from Fleck that was well defended.
𝐍𝐸𝐫𝐶 trying to rally the troops. The blade at Bramall Lane would have dreamt of this, but of course, playing in the red and white wasn't to be. But here he is back. Made a great career for himself. We're at 83-20. John Egan to Basham. Never thought I'd be saying that against Coventry, struggling in the Championship. Only 2 years on from our incredible season in the Premier League. But here we are. Could be a throw-in if that's not kept in. I think he's just kept that in. The Blades were hoping that was going to go out. And Coventry just at this halfway point trying to get things moving, but Ben Davies and Harahan will combine to get it clear, and then the ball played over the top to David McGoldrick. He's being wrestled. He's going to get a shot away, and he can't keep it down at all. It's poor from David McGoldrick.
I mean, it's hard to score from there, but you'd hope he could do better than that.
Yeah, on his weaker, but he should have learned the keeping it down lesson from the previous shot, and he hasn't. Disappointing.
I think it was Harahan again who played the ball over.
Oh, just when you watch it back, he waits for it at the worst possible moment to hit it. Sorry, Nick, this isn't Didsy slander. This is just calling it exactly as it is. There are moments when you wait for a ball to hit it, and it's not when it's just on the rise. It's when it's gone the way down. But
I mean, I'm sure he knows this.
He does know this, and also he's not listening to me right now. But for the younger viewers,
Yes.
that's the way that you do it. You also don't lean back as he did first time round when you're trying to hit something. You just want to get on top of it.
It was another good ball from Harahan, who I think has come into the game in the second.
Really
half.
has. Yeah, he really has.
Moments.
I think that's spot on. He's put himself.
You say the highlight of his Blades career, which isn't saying much, but it has been some good stuff.
The highlight of his Blades career is those two corners against Hull.
Oh yes, of course.
Definitely. 85, bang on the nose. Here's a chance for Ender Stevens. He's very slow at the moment, Ender, and lethargic with his play. The old Ender would have taken that.
Yeah, I do think. Because Norwich Davis is injured, isn't he?
He's out of the picture at the moment, so I have to assume.
When you think
I don't think
anything else.
I don't think he is injured because he would have said that he's out injured. He's never listed on the injured list. He's just been out of it. Here's Ben Osborne going to be brought on. 86 minutes on the clock. Not quite sure what Ben Osborne is going to do playing as a left wing back in the final 6 minutes. But one thing you'll get from Ben is he'll give everything.
Yeah, he will.
I'd have started him ahead of Ender if we were going to play this formation.
Yeah, there's definitely an argument for that. But yeah, I mean, interesting to know what exactly is going on with Norwich and Davis, because when he did play, he had some definitely good moments earlier on in the season, I thought.
Yeah, he did have some good moments. He also had some shaky moments, and he also at times looked like he couldn't cross, and there were times he looked like he could put a beauty of a cross in. So sort of maddeningly confusing. Yeah, a young player. Yeah, absolutely. You're quite fair. That's a ball played out by John Fleck, but it's
just a bit too far.
Too far. I'm not going to say it. 86-15 on the clock. Overhit. We're gonna say that. Slav trying to rally the troops. I think he must be thinking, Qatar's nice this time of year.
Possibly.
What was I thinking? He was on great money, living the lovely life in Qatar. Only 34 likes for this stream. That's a disgrace. Let's get a few more in. If you've got a moment to hit like, that would be greatly received. And let's give. I mean, the Blades don't deserve a like, but I think Alec does. He's done a great job in his first watch along, and your daughter's been an intrinsic part of it as well, so she deserves a special mention. We could do with a super chat just to really bring some life to this, because the game's done nothing for us. But if we can get a super chat before we get to 90, that would be fantastic, just to help the channel. Because at the moment, obviously, we have to spend money to bring you this. Every super chat just helps us. Not a great touch there, and I think Billy's looking leggy, and I probably would have said that from the first minute today. It's not been his day, has it?
It's a strange choice to start.
I agree with you. I think he's an impact super sub, possibly more now at this stage of his career.
But yeah, Slav seems to be quite keen on the sort of tried and tested. Oh,
is that a foul?
Yeah,
it is. Michael Salisbury gives that free kick on Jaden Bogle, as Nick suggests that £100 super chat and Hal will take his clothes and glasses off. I refuse to take my glasses off. That is not happening. That's quite an ambitious target. Nick sets me these ambitious targets. We often do quite well to try and get close to reaching them, but we've done nowhere near that today. That is a foul, and we see that as the kick came into the chest.
Oh, he's trying to do November as well.
He's trying. He's doing a little bit better than Bobby in the background, but it's not too far off. If you don't know what we're talking about, check out the preview. He's a bit older than Bobby. Yeah, you were assuming.
I am assuming.
You don't know how old Bobby is, or that gentleman there.
I feel like I can guess how old Bobby is, but yeah.
We're not quite. I mean, the game's been dull, but we're not quite at that stage.
We're not quite at the guess Bobby's age stage.
Maybe that'll happen for the next watch.
Okay,
we're
anyway,
not doing ready.
Free kick for the Blades to swing the cross in. I think it's Harahan. It is swung in.
Get that shot away. It's going to drop to Morgan Gibbs-White. Oh, it's a great save from Simon Moore. Lowe gets his hand down and stops a certain goal. And it had to be Moore. It had to be Simon Bloody Moore, the handsome bastard. Oh, what a chance. Morgan Gibbs-White on his stronger foot, takes a wicked deflection. Oh, he does really well, doesn't he? The reactions.
Yeah, it's a great save.
Oh, going down, manages to get a hand to it. Wonder save. And look at him. Moore looks so cool and calm. Like, yep, plan that.
It looks like he's sort of computer generated. There's something kind of...
He's perfect, isn't he?
There's not a hair out of place.
He's just a perfect man. And there's a fair few hairs out of place on some Movember efforts that we've seen in the crowd there. Yes, a withering look that you just got from me there, and Nick giving me one for using a slight swear.
Didn't think that was... I was trying to avoid...
Oh, you've done very well. No, I just felt it was absolutely necessary, and I think John agrees. We're approaching the 90th minute. That was frustrating, really frustrating. That was the moment in a game of
That was the moment that felt like if it was against us, it would have gone in.
Oh, of course it would have. That would have been 2 goals.
2 goals.
But great save. And it had to be, if you were to write the script for this game, and as some sort of sadistic Wednesday fan, that's exactly what you'd have written. You'd probably have Coventry then getting one sort of just after this. But horrible, horrible way for that not to go in. Wonderful keeper, Simon Moore. If anything, we should have kept him.
Yeah, quite possibly. It was certainly he was great in his time at the club, and performed whenever he was called upon. So it did seem a bit harsh to part company.
Well, his contract was running out, I understand, but I think he's looked better than the other keepers that we had at the time. Here's Morgan Gibbs-White on his right foot. Thought about the cross. Dabo, though, not an easy player to get past. Does get past him, then can't beat the next man. Here's John Fleck, does really well. Oh, the drilled cross was so predictable. There's another poor cross. The Blades 3 bad crosses in a row. Got to do more in those advanced attacking positions. We're getting to crunch time.
And I think when we have made things happen, it has often been Gibbs-White. So I think he's had a pretty good game on the whole.
Well, we'll never know, because he had a poor first half, as did Ndiaye. If Ndiaye had been left on, maybe he'd have been pulling these strings on the other side.
Maybe he got cramp again.
Oh, don't. I'll never live that down. Right, we're into added on time. There's going to be 3 minutes added on. It is Sheffield United 0, Coventry 0.
Already getting forward now.
Go on, Jayden Bogle. Oh, he decides against crossing first time. So it's given up Coventry players a chance to get back, which they do. They're able to read that cross and clear it comfortably for a throw-in. The Blades fans, you'd imagine, now roaring the players on. John Fleck saying he hasn't got any options. There's Slav in his smoke machine trying to cheer everyone on. So many weak crosses, really poor. Here's Fleck on his left. Thinks about the pass, decides against it and goes backwards instead of playing it to Harahan, because Harahan had Allen very close to him. Ben Osborne, always busy, always running, and we finally got a super chat. Here is Ben Osborne. We'll deal with that in a second, Steve, you absolute legend. Plays it into David McGoldrick, gets past one, thinks about the pass, again, brings it back, shoot! Oh, it's a great block from Morgan Gibbs-White shot, and it was McFadden who threw himself at it and keeps the ball out, and it's former Blades everywhere denying United today.
I mean, I think we can certainly say the second half was much better than the first.
Yeah, we can. We absolutely can. My first half match reaction is second half. I'm going to try and remember some of the things that happened. Steve York giving us £5 Thank you for that. Here's Basham. Can we get a double bonus of not just a super chat, but also a Blades winner? Ball crossed in. Didzy keeps it alive, plays it back. Here's the industrious Ben Osborne, gets a shot away. Oh, Harahan on his left. Oh, it's wide. Steve says, take my money, you deserve it after witnessing this garbage. Please keep your clothes on, though. My eyes have had enough abuse for one day. Thank you, Steve. If you'd like to join Steve and support this channel, a super chat would be gratefully received. Don't forget to give the video a like, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the Sheffield United Way, where we always want your opinions on things. What a chance.
I mean, so we are the side that's creating the chances.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it, though. It's going to finish 0-0. We haven't conceded in the final few.
Yes, at least it's a point.
At least it is a point. That's how it's ended. It's ended 0-0. Not a good game. Not one that the Sky cameras will want to return to Bramall Lane for. It might be, they are going to do a few more games. Already booked in to do them, but they'll not want to. Thank you, everyone that has contributed today. Simon has given us $6.72. I'll match Steve. Double bonus. I'm guessing that $6.72 is now the equivalent.
Yes.
Yeah, presumably the equivalent of. So thank you very much, Simon. A clean sheet for Wes, League One Wes. Yeah, really good. When was the last time we had a clean sheet?
That Luton game, maybe? Or we wanted...
I'm thinking it was Derby County at home. Olsen played in that game, but it was Wes who played at Luton.
𝐍. League One, 𝐍.
League One West. Are we crazy?
League One West. Are we crazy?
We're
Maybe
not.
he will become Championship Wes after all.
A good point. A decent clean sheet. Simon Moore, you'd have to say the man of the match because of that save right at the end. That was a match-winning save for Coventry. Before we disappear, let us know your thoughts in the comments on that game. What did you make of it? Dodsey, and in relation to Didsey, says garbage. Good point. First clean sheet in a very long time. Did Sky even bother to turn the cameras on after the first half? Matthew says clean sheet against top 4 team. He's looking at it the way that you would.
I did think about this. You know, they've been in great form. We kept them to very little. I had a quick glance at the XG. It's 0.98, 1.14 for us versus 0.47 for them. So, you know, neither. I mean, it's a reflection that we created quite. You know, it's more about, I think, volume of chances than really high quality chances for us. Although I think maybe that Didsey one kind of stands out as a really good a chance for us. You wonder how other people might have taken that one if they were on the pitch, but let's maybe leave that there. So yeah, I think, you know, if you take the positives, it's a clean sheet against a very good team. We kept them it's a deserved clean sheet. We improved significantly from the first half into the second half, and by the end we were really pushing to win the game. So it's certainly that first half we were kind of sort of in the depths of despair, but definitely got much better from there.
If you had to pick a man of the match for the Blades before we go, Alec, I know it's a difficult question because of the game that was largely forgettable, but what are you going to go with?
I think I'll return to the fact that when we did make things happen, it was Morgan Gibbs-White. So I think purely on the strength of that second half performance, I would probably go Gibbs-White, although I think Basham has a very strong case, you know, being part of a very solid defensive unit and, you know, making a few forays forward as well. So I think it would be between those two.
Quite agree. Thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us for the watch along today. I will do a match reaction once I've tried to remember what happened in that match, and I will react to it. Alec, I've got to say, I'm incredibly grateful to you for joining me today. I would have really struggled to talk about that game on my own. So I'm really, really thankful. Thanks again. Hopefully, it won't be the last watch along that we do together.
I'd love to do another one.
Top man. Thanks to each and every one of you for watching. We won't do one for Reading because I'm going to the game, but we will be back for the Bristol City. We're doing QPR as well. So hopefully see you for those. Cheers.